I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. It looks like first is Rich, right? Mm-hmm. Rich, come on down.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So what we're doing is, Solid Waste Committee is we want to survey the residents, specifically looking for some specific data. You guys should have got the form.
So we need your feedback?
Yeah.
So
the front, there's 2 pages involved. So the page that says we need your feedback is the advertisement and the publicity and explaining to people why we're doing this and what we're looking for. And then the second page on the back, or not necessarily the back, but
back on ours too, Rich.
the transfer station survey. There are the 5 questions that people can select. We are going to mail it out to all the residents and run it in the newsletter. There was some concern on the committee that not everybody peruses the newsletter. So
That's true. So we might as well cover
we
all the
wanna-
bases.
we
Yeah.
want to just cover the bases and try to get as many as we can. And there's also an online option, thanks to Cal. She helped me create a Google form. And so it's going to ask the same question.
Good.
You know, everything's on there. And open to collate it and get some good information.
Rich, the only,
This is, technically, I mean, we're here to hopefully get your, not that I had to get permission, but we feel that, we want to run it by you guys and make sure you guys are aware of what we're asking. We're getting it in this is a preview of the newsletter, and there it is, what it's going to look like in the newsletter. So.
okay. So providing feedback, I don't like question 5.
I'm also have a big red star next to 5.
Question 5 really isn't a question. It looks like it's advocating for a new landfill site.
No. Would you be in favor of seeking? And you got to kind of backtrack. If you look at the first, hold on, I gotta find where it is here. So back into the talking about the background of the transfer station is that it sits on top an uncapped landfill. We can't modify the building. We can't provide new structures. At one time we were bantering around about putting pole barn in and stuff like that. We're talking about an electrical compactor. There's a lot of these things require digging into the surface of the ground. So we're handcuffed in terms of that. So there's a lot of things that we can and can't do. So we're trying to get the word out that would you consider looking at a different site?
Scott, I also have big questions about number 5 for perhaps different reasons, but Scott, are you done with
No, go ahead.
Well, my concern is you're going to ask people, do you think you would like to see an alternative site? And they're going to say, yeah, sure, why not? Alternative site would be great. But they're not going to have any idea what that means as far as where it might be, how much it's going to be, how it's going to impact their taxes in a couple of years when taxes are on everybody's mind, or will be shortly. To me, that question is a whole nother conversation a little bit further down the line and doesn't impact anything else you might want to do that you can do. That's my problem with that question. The rest of it I think is fine. The only other thing I would say is make sure there's enough room to write under where it says explain why or why not, or they can add a piece of paper. And it looks like the 2 places where it says submit your answers online has 2 different addresses. On the first page, it says HTTPS blah, blah, blah site, and then on the back page, it says website.
You must have got the non-updated
Okay,
copy.
so that's fixed.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest concern was number 5. It seemed people would say, because you may get 100 answers and everybody will say, yeah, we think it's a great idea. And then when you come down to actually talking about it, they're gonna be like, well, we didn't know what that really meant. I
Just,
think that needs a lot more explanation than just, do you think it's
The
a
whole
good idea?
purpose of the survey is it's driving conversations on the committee.
Mm-hmm.
And so without any data, we're just chasing our tails and going round and round. It's like the first one, we got some numbers from a couple of years ago that it's actually would save the town a lot of money if we had our trash picked up. Eliminate the transfer station. It would be cheaper for the town. But
Which is great information, but again, to me, personally, a whole nother conversation that's above and beyond a simple survey. I think that's a whole
Yeah.
great conversation.
The last
to
one
have.
was because there was probably a year ago, we got stuck in looking at the transfer station and redesigning. There was a committee and the members went and visited a bunch of different other
Right.
facilities
That's
and
right, I
stuff.
remember you doing
And we were looking at how they do things and how they process the materials and stuff like that. And what can we do better at our site? And then we ran into we went down, all the way down to where we had two competing proposals to revamp our site. But then we were dead in the water as soon as we looked at, we got a landfill there.
Right.
So redesigning, restructuring, moving, all that is out the window. I think
And I don't disagree with any of that. My problem is just this question on
number
this
one
survey.
will drive number 5. It's just conversations on the board, on the committee, for our committee, for us to kick around things and to explore things. Right now, the big thing is compost, but we don't have any room at the current transfer station.
Well, and that's another whole question about how many people would actually bring it to
And there was something,
their
Ken
transfer.
had sent me an email that there was one of those solicitors, people were, solicitor is a bad choice of word, but there's this one company they're out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they take a Connex, one of those storage containers,
Mhm.
and they repurpose it. And it's a self-sustaining composting machine.
Mhm.
It can handle up to 5 tons a month compost. And it generates a slurry, they call it soil juice,
Mhm.
and then the composting stuff itself. If the town wants to invest in something like that, where everybody, I'm trying not to take up too much of your time and try not to go into too deep into the conversation.
No, and
but
that's good, again, the question about composting and food waste, that's good. You get a sense of how many people might actually use something like
That's
that.
where we get into the innovative solutions, traffic. That's one of the big complaints that we hear all the time about the current transfer station is about traffic flow.
Is there a traffic question here? I don't remember a traffic question.
It's all in number 5.
I think that's, again, if you want our opinion, my personal opinion, I don't know what Kent or Scott feel, is that that's packing a lot into one question that people are going to think about a little bit of it or not, and not think about the bigger picture of where, how much, and my taxes. That's my only problem with the entire survey, really, is number 5. I think the survey gives you a lot of information as it is. If you want to know about traffic, make number 5 a traffic question, which has nothing to do with a new
We're
building.
trying to keep it short and sweet. And
But if
that's-
number 5 is a question you already have, and it simply becomes, what's your opinion on the traffic currently at the dump, at the transfer station? that doesn't take up any more room and it takes out the bigger question. Again, that's from my standpoint. I don't know what the gents feel, but.
Well, as I said in the beginning, question 5, once again, it's question 5 on the survey. And to me, it looks as though you guys have made your minds up already that you are
No,
not
we haven't. It's not worded that way either.
I think it is, Rich.
Would you be in favor of seeking an alternative site? It's just opening the door.
Yeah, but you didn't read the first sentence, where you talking about old landfill, potential for water contamination.
Those
They
are
will
the current
change your bill.
restrictions with what we got.
Right. So as I read that, it looks to me like you're all in favor of moving out of that. It's not really a survey question.
Would you have a lot of usable information going forward if you just had 4 questions and perhaps one about traffic? Does that take care of what you need to know now with the current site and what you want to change or not? Not thinking about moving it, but with what you have to work with now, do 4 questions and perhaps a traffic question, get you where you need to be now. Assuming that a new site is a whole nother conversation when we have to close the site we're at. Does it get you enough information?
I don't think so. But I could bring it back to the committee, with postpone us getting this out. We were kind of ramping up, kind of putting the cart ahead of the horse, trying to get this out into the newsletter for October.
And if it goes in November, what does that do?
Just delays everything.
And everything being what you plan to do at the transfer station? I mean, it's a month.
We're
It's
not
not
doing
like,
anything at the transfer station. This is the solid waste committee, the committee that we talk about, we meet twice a month,
yeah.
and we bring up different issues, and we've been talking about things, and we felt like we were chasing our tails. We wanted to survey the residents. We were gonna go to the transfer station and have us hanging out there and surveying residents up there. We explored the possibility of mailing out a survey, found that it was feasible, it was doable, so we've been working on this for the last month. Fine tuning this, many iterations of the survey, of the form itself, and how we worded things. I feel we came to a consensus in the committee with how we were gonna approach this, and what we did for advertisement, and then what we had for questions. We kicked around a bunch of different ones and pared them down to these 5.
Yeah.
And we felt that it was a pretty rock solid survey with asking these questions.
All right,
So
but
at this
if
point,
you are the solid waste committee, and you just made it sound like that doesn't have to do with the transfer station, though this is called the transfer station survey. And these are things that people do at the transfer station. They either use it or they don't for their trash. That's a good thing to know. I mean, these questions are all good, but again, it's all how people are using the current station and how you're going to go forward to make the current use of the station better, correct? Is that the purpose of all this? I mean, the purpose, again, setting aside for a moment the possibility of a new transfer station. Oh, all right. So, again, my thing is that if this is a transfer station survey about this transfer station as it is now, these questions are great to give you information about how people are currently using it. If traffic is one of your big bugaboos, again, personally, I would change number 5 to a traffic question, because that has to do with the transfer station as it is now. And this new one is, to me, a whole nother conversation.
it's not just traffic, there's other issues. Traffic is part of it, green bags is the quality of the green bags is another part of it. Staffing issues is another part of it. So there are a lot of other questions. We just settled on that one. We felt that was the best one out of what we had left. Just for brevity, to get this out, at the very beginning, he said transfer station, we say it right at the very beginning on where we need your feedback. First sentence under the feedback, the solid waste committee is seeking information.
But you're seeking it about the transfer station, otherwise it would be called the solid waste committee survey. And again, I'm just speaking for myself, I wasn't at all these meetings, but.
It was the solid waste committee that was the driver for the new baler up there.
Okay.
And we put that in, we get that, the funding for it, the grant, the, getting the power upgrade up there. There are some other issues, the lighting up there is one thing that we were gonna tackle, but everything was on hold until we got more information with the survey. We felt that rather than keep chasing these different problems, these different topics, we said, hold on, let's get a survey, let's get some data that we can work with, so they give us some data to work with future discussions.
Right, and the survey is great, again, if you have concerns about bags, traffic, and whatever else, I would put those in and take out 5, and that's, if I only have a minute left, that's, I don't need to say that anymore, that's just my opinion. I think the rest of it is great, and the way to get it out to the town is good, and it's probably really useful to know, but that's just me.
Ken, anything for you?
I really hadn't seen this because I was up sitting with you guys setting up the voting, so I wasn't at the last couple of meetings. I think it's a legitimate question. See 2 no votes, I would suggest you drop it. I don't think you're gonna win this one. Maybe information would help you. I don't think we should wait till the bitter last moment to decide to do this. Now seems like the time to start talking about it, but I understand about the taxes part of things, so I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying, it seems like we should be thinking about this.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you.
So then how do you do it other than a question like that? I mean,
I don't see that question. One, it doesn't seem like bitter last minute. If there's no immediate problems, it's not the bitter last moment. And if there are current problems such as bags, traffic, and everything else that can be addressed right now, to me, those questions seem more timely than a new place, which needs a lot more study. And if you came back to the town and said, okay, we've got 3 sites that we've
Well, we can't even have that conversation without acknowledging that we could look at a different site. So,
I think you could say, we've got 3 sites, what do you think, it's gonna cost this much? And people say, yeah, great, or no way, I'm gonna pay for that.
I'll tell you what, we've got a busy night.
Yeah.
So, Rich, you came here seeking feedback, we provided.
okay. Would you have, are there any, what do I ask? We're looking for feedback, yes, but is there any opposition to the survey going out as is? Seeing as we've already got the wheels turning on everything, I can pull the plug on it.
Yeah, I'm going to speak for me. I don't think it's our place. This is your survey.
Yep.
You were here tonight, I thought, seeking feedback, but it seems like you've got.
Well, I
the
felt that I
resolution.
needed to run this by you. We had it, we've been working on this for a while. We got a consensus, we got it ironed out, we got the grammar thing, we got the apostrophes in position, T's crossed and everything. And so I felt like one of the last things
Yeah,
was.
because you don't have a budget, really, the selectmen are the ones to authorize the expenditure.
Right.
Which is the right thing, yeah.
Correct. And so I've sought out the least expensive, it's gonna cost, to go to 1,100 households, businesses in the town, it's gonna cost us $250. Which isn't bad.
Yeah.
So, I've done all my homework, I've sought out all the different ways to get this thing advertised and put out, so.
I think that's great. Again, I don't know what we need to vote or not vote going forward. Personally, again, I'd say wait the month, go back, change question 5 and put the other questions that will immediately help you get information about how to make the current transfer station work better, and make this a question when you've got more information about what it might actually involve to move it to a current site. Because if I was going to be faced with saying yes or no, do I think it's a good idea? I would wanna know a lot more before I said yes. I would just leave that question blank. Say, I don't know. What's it gonna cost? That would be my first
Some
question.
people have that prerogative. Yeah, they could do that. So,
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
thank you. Thanks, Rich.
Thank
So
you.
just to be
It's-
clear, there's no problem.
I said, thank you, it's hard to put these things
Yeah,
together.
it is.
Um,
So there's no problem with me just moving forward with this?
if you don't wanna use our input, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time, guys.
Okay, thank you.
How much happier? Come on up, please. This is family, I assume.
This
Hi,
is,
family.
Yay.
this is
Cool. Do
And
you guys want to stand up here with him while he gets sworn in? Any of you? All of you?
You wanna stand with Dad when he takes his oath?
You're
you want to
certainly
stand by that or you
not.
want to sit there? It's up to
And
you.
who's going to take pictures whilst we do this? Somebody should take pictures.
No.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the oath of office, did you bring, okay, so we're going to use a previous version and we'll do the signature
We'll
part.
do the signature.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure that out. So, okay.
Make sure the name's correct.
Yes. Come on up. Why don't you stand right here?
You're all gonna have to excuse me again, because I'm gonna cry.
All right. So the chief and I had a conversation this afternoon. He recalled his swearing in and the last officer that we swore in, and it was a little awkward. It just required you to repeat it. You've probably been through that a time or two. So we're gonna try something different. So if you would, I'm gonna just read the oath of office, ask you to say I do at the end. Perfect. So you sworn in. I think that'll be easy. So I, Jordan Westgate, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as police officer according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and law of the state of New Hampshire. This you do under the pains and penalties of perjury. Tough for me even to read that. What say you?
I do.
Congratulations. Welcome. Glad to have you. Congratulations, family.
Good job, all. You did
Thank
great.
you.
Great.
Thank
It's
you.
all good.
Dad's official now.
Yes, he is.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
I just want to. Good job. Good job.
We'll take care of those. Yeah. We'll get it done.
Thank you, welcome to town.
You did so good.
It's a good thing we did.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you. All right.
That's a lot less official, I can handle that.
Yeah, there you go. Stay safe.
Say bye.
All right.
These are very
So that's Rich, Jordan. All right, department. You want to go first, or you can join your officer for whatever he's doing? I hope he's celebrating something.
Oh,
Such a softie.
By the time he goes up there and changes.
Exactly. Every time.
thank you.
All right.
Oh, this is down, isn't it?
Well, it is, but we also had 2 weeks when Officer Dumas was gone, and then 2 weeks when Officer Crothy was gone.
Oh,
Plus, we
okay.
still have some major cases that we're still working, so we still have a lot of in-office time that we've been doing.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But from August 19th to today, we had 15 incident reports, 1 accident, 3 arrests, 30 citations, and 507 calls for service. And state police assist us with 11 calls. And we have 2 hours of miscellaneous training through the month.
Do you count the accidents, the I-93 accidents? Do they count? on
Only
your-
if we take them.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, if we take them, we'll count. If we don't, then we don't.
Understood, state police and, yeah, okay.
But our calls for service were more like 611 or something, is that, they were 900 last time? 600,
The officers aren't on the road as much because of the other things we're doing,
okay. Wow,
and because we were short.
Yeah.
So I expect those to go back up once we clear up all these other cases and now that they're both back from their Army training. So
Oh, so everyone's back in town?
everybody's back.
Okay,
Vincent-
great.
Vincent came back today. He's back on duty right
Are they the same unit by any chance?
now. Myself and, kind of. So I'm in battalion, Officer Dumas is in the company, so we're in the same,
Yeah,
somewhat.
familiar.
Officer Craft
Yep.
is in a different unit altogether.
Understood. Okay.
Is, I know you said when you introduced us to Officer Westgate that he had some of the ability to do trainings like you do. When might he start that? If
He's on FTO right now, so I expect that, so he can't even, he has to take a PT test with the Police Standards and Training Council.
Oh, okay.
That can't happen until the end of October, they'll do that once a month.
Okay.
So as soon as he can take that, his certification will be back in good standing. I expect him to be off FTO around the end of October, so he'll actually be on his own shift by the end of October. So November, he'll be on his own, he'll be back to full staff and full coverage,
Great. Did you say end of October or end of November?
end of October.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. Great. The trainings went well? Your 2 hours of miscellaneous training, did they go well?
That was, so Deanna had a training for language training, which is part of IMC with the state police.
Mhm.
I took over at the hall at the DMV.
Okay, great. Oh, and the drug take back Saturday.
Drug take back's only October 22nd, or 26th, sorry.
Are you
That's
going,
the lobby, right?
Yes, in the chamber.
Yeah, yeah.
and you'll post that in all the appropriate places in town, newsletter and blah, blah, blah. Okay, thanks.
We're just waiting for them to send us the link, start printing flyers and stuff.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Great, I'm gonna put that on my calendar. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
we'll post it on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah. Okay, you all set?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
October 8th,
26th.
October 8th for our event.
Yes.
Chief Gamache, you wanna, come on down?
Lisa.
Kids understand it.
All right, emergency response was 309 year to date. We're still running close to 40% ahead of last year. We'll reach last year's total in about 2 weeks, probably early October. So we're on par with our biggest year emergency response wise.
As of right now, I should be there.
But there's no single reason, or, you know, I mean, we do have, you know, some people are chronic and calling, but every department does, you know. And we have those last year too.
Chief, out of curiosity, do you check in, I'm pretty sure you talk with other departments around, has everybody seen that kind of increase?
Not everyone, probably 2/3 of the departments around the city are seeing that increase, and that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon to have a, you know, gradual increase. Some years it's bigger bumps, other years it goes down just a bit, but it's really never. So, we're managing it, just wanted you to be aware.
Okay, thank you.
Fire Prevention Week, annual Fire Prevention Week's coming up in October. We gotta use social media to get us messages, change batteries in the smoke detectors, if they have batteries that are not hardwired. We have demonstrations scheduled, we have 3 at the elementary school scheduled, 3 separate demonstrations, we have one at the library with Rachel scheduled. The Dewey School, we have one there, and one at the Quaker School scheduled. So
Oh, great.
we have a pretty busy month of demonstrations there. Also on the fire prevention tab, Harmony Lane, they started that culvert replacement on South Harmony Lane, which basically eliminates access for any emergency vehicles for a period of time to all the houses on South Harmony Lane. So I work with the residents, I work with other area departments and 911 out of Concord. We can access the addresses on South Harmony Lane from the end of North Harmony Lane. They created an access that's not ideal, but we could get through. So the communication with the person who's in charge of letting me know that's going down, that's happening. So I've been talking to her last week. We'll get the dates for the temporary covers now been installed, and later in October, the permanent covers will be installed, necessitating another week to 2 week closure. So, so I assured her that responders, when they call 911, they have to get no instructions where everything's been entered into the system, that we're gonna have the correct way to get into there. So,
Great, that comes in off of, what is that, South Road and North?
yeah.
Oh, that's rough in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. It's not ideal, but we can get there.
Well, thanks for letting everybody know, that's
Yeah,
great.
so the fire prevention has been a really busy month, multiple gas inspections, new address assignments throughout the town, fire drills, school inspections and set. Annually, we have to inspect every school, all of the public schools in the district, and report to the fire marshal's office by December 15th. So that's scheduled for next month, but the fire drill is going to be done monthly, so I'm working with them to do all that. They're great to deal with. They got a good thing going over there at the elementary school, the principal and her staff, so we got good working relationship.
Good.
And Herb and I are going to the Carbon Monoxide Summit. It's a one-day summit. It's basically all the industry experts and what's coming up, and reviewing past incidents for carbon monoxide as the heating season starts. We'll go in there in, I believe, late October, so for a day.
Great, okay.
And that's local. That's right in Concord.
So where do you get most of those from? Gas heaters or?
It's from fossil burning appliances. Yeah, properly vented. I mean, you're talking carbon monoxide?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so if something's not properly vented, that's how people get. It's odorless, it's tasteless. So usually in that country, in a part of the countries that have heating appliances, if people are suspect of carbon monoxide poisoning, and oftentimes fatal if this goes undetected.
Oh, yeah, kerosene heaters or even a camp stove, right? My camp stove has
Mhm,
warnings
yeah,
all over it.
Yeah,
in the
it's
back
not
porch.
vented, so
Okay,
I can't recommend CO detectors enough. So.
okay.
So Rescue One, we're moving forward with making that operational to last another 2 or 3 years. We're putting new tires on it this month. We're getting the rust repaired. I may have to wait until the first of the year for a rust repair. We'll see what the budget looks like, but we're moving forward with making that sure that's operational for the next 2 or 3 years anyways.
Alrighty, thanks.
Yep, we went down to Greenwood. Greenwood is the vendor that's building our fire truck here in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. We went there for an open house on Friday, had lunch with the president of Greenwood that I've known for 30 years. It's great to keep that contact and, whatever.
Does that help us get the truck faster?
Well, his hands are tied there.
I bet he knows.
It's nice to know I have his personal cell if there's anything we need. It's, we already had one issue a few months back and I reached out to him and the person that wasn't responding to me called me in 5 minutes. So it's nice to have that option if I need it. So,
Yeah.
Radio installation project is almost complete. We received our $75,000 from the feds last week towards that project, so we're almost done there. I expect that whole project will be done by the end of October. Hose project, the EFG grant, the $25,000 that we just received most recently, all that hose has been ordered. We'll be ready to go on a new fire truck with a new fire truck backs in, which is tentatively scheduled for spring of 26.
The new truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a little recent issue with the Riverland access that I wasn't in one day. The lady who wants the bed and breakfast down there.
Yeah.
Called, what is your lot doing on it? I got a call when from at home, and I authorized my guy to go unlock it so they could mow the fields, and then she put her lock on and cut us out. And so I went down, and actually I knocked on the door. I introduced myself and gave her my card, and now we have her lock and our lock married, so she can get in, I can get in, and it's, and it's, listen, I'm not getting in between you and the town. It's just, we need access, you need access, period. So it was a great conversation, gave her my card, and we turned the page, so.
That's a really good question because there's a work day scheduled down at the Riverland that they're going to need to unlock that gate to get in, for us to bring in like chainsaws and stuff like that. I don't know when it got the
Okay, so
schedule.
call us. If she's not involved, she can get in. So our two locks are married together. She can get in with her lock, or the fire department can let you in with their lock.
Okay, so if we still would call you to get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. You can give me a couple of days notice, hey, we need it unlocked at this date, you know what I mean, and I can just unlock it for you, and we'll go from there, so.
Is it okay if I look on my phone? I would like to see what date that is while you continue
okay.
talking so I can let you know
Yeah,
when that might be. And I'll listen as you continue to talk because it's coming up.
okay. Another thing, the town beaches, speaking of, not just Riverland, the other beaches as well, our signs and equipment will be coming down, probably in another couple of weeks, signs indicating where they are, and life preservers and all that stuff, but All summer, Herb and I have made it a point where probably twice a month, we visit every beach, we bring a garbage bag with us, we talk to the people that are out there, and said, this sign tells you where you are, and all that stuff, and while we're out there, it's just a pet peeve of Herb and I, we kind of pick up the stuff, you know what I mean, because we just, so, but we've had good conversation with people that are using those beaches. And it seems like Riverland is the one that's used the most, so we go down there, but we've been down to the one at the end of West Road and all that stuff too, so. Good conversations, people are startled when they see it, what are you doing here? We
No.
don't get in trouble, you know what I mean, so.
Just take a
And we
look
check our
around.
equipment when we're down there, so we've done, like every other week, we go down. So another project I've had going on for a little bit is the Knox key secure system. Basically, a Knox key gives us access, so if a place like the town hall, there's a Knox box on there. I open that box with our secure key, there's a key to get into the town hall and I can get in there. Well, it's sold as a secure system. On the fire department side, it was probably, I'll just say less than secure, okay? But it's sold to them as a secure system where even the school has a Knox, allows us to enter via keys in the Knox box.
Yeah,
I think I owe it to them and I owe it to the town to make sure the keys are secure in the firehouse and not just hanging on the hook. Because it's built as a secure system, it's secure, you need a special code to get in the fire department, and you need a special key to get in. You need a special code to get in to access that key, to access the lockbox, to access the key to the school. So we're building on that project, obviously there's dollars involved, not a lot, but I'm doing it within budget. It's something that, then a little pet peeve of mine that we're working on for a couple of years, we're almost complete that project as well.
okay, thank you.
And then smoky sign.
Yes.
Thank you. It's one of those things out of sight, out of mind, and I kind of really don't have the discretion every time to kind of go paint the sign, but I've got people that are be doing it. I ordered the sticker, actually, retired Chief Caswell, said he paid for the sticker, and he paid for the 2 stickers to update it, and Herb and I gotta take them down and paint the sign and get that done. So-
Well, the funny thing is I was looking at the sign, I was taking pictures of it because I was trying to figure out how I could Photoshop it and then order a vinyl banner,
Yeah.
an outdoor banner, and then I could cut it to size. And I was going home from that when I ran into Herb, he said, no, Dale's ordered this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we
he's
did
got
a
my,
municipal complex sign a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, but that thing was kind of like outside of the mind, and we get one of these, but
well, I figured with Herb
you
dressing.
called me up, that's
Yeah,
all, thank you, you got it.
since Herb is dressing up and the Smokies all over the place now, we gotta look good.
Yeah.
But whenever you do that, he's gonna text me and come up and take some pictures and let people know what's
Okay,
happening.
okay.
Cool, that's the smallest thing on your list,
Yeah.
but perhaps the most
That's all I
fun.
have, do you have any questions?
No, not, you explained everything thoroughly, thank you.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Need anything wrong with it? Okay, great.
Okay.
Off on vacation, flying out tomorrow.
Enjoy.
What, where are you going?
Grand Canyon, Zion, all that stuff.
Nice, don't fall in, come home safe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye now.
Have a good
Good night.
time.
now.
Sam?
I'm interested. See you on, done with that. We'll be down there with your dad and all that stuff. We'll have stickers and that.
No, yeah.
Oh, this is different,
Yes.
there we go.
Paid receivables list in front of you. Not a lot has changed since last month. I've connected with 2 or 3 people that are the big hitters, especially on the bottom list in 2024 PO1, and people are not responsive. So we will just wait and see.
Yeah, pretty big numbers there.
There are some big numbers here.
Unexpectedly big numbers. Usually these are people that pay. So
Ew,
we shall see.
did we, can we mention names on this list in public session? Okay, so, did Beulah Fellowship, that's one of the ones that we, didn't, renew their religious exemption, correct? So this is their full tax bill?
No, that's half their tax. Well, that's,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It actually wasn't a case of us not renewing it, they didn't file.
They didn't file.
Oh, we didn't give them time, yeah. They missed the filing deadline. Okay. Oh,
Alright.
man, that's the remainder of the list on the back?
That's the whole thing.
Holy moly.
So we're on target for where we usually are. at this time of year.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, can I,
You want to explain it, or?
we can.
Okay.
This is a
Sign a check.
This is a check for Bilal Granite for granite posts for the cemetery that Sam slid right in under the wire to get area printed for me.
Gotcha.
So there's some miscommunication
It's
between
not on the.
Bilal Granite and
Understood.
Sam Paps and the town of Canterbury, so
Just one signature.
Just your
they
signature.
were miscommunicating things to me. They offered me 50 corner posts, but I ordered 60.
50 corner posts?
So we had to straighten that out. We got a new invoice created.
Understood.
Oh, these are for the little square, oh.
Yeah.
So
Got it. You seen this, or would you like?
I know it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Good, good.
And are those going where all the little, oh no, never mind, that's another part of the cemetery. Question rejected. Retracted.
and the $3,500 grant came through, so that's
Oh,
in our bank account,
Yep.
and we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
I started to order the cage today, and then I found out that they did a different cage on their website, so now I've got to go find a new vendor. Because they increased it by $800, so
Of course.
we gotta go find a new cage.
Thank you.
So some of you just pick up the phone and buy?
Yeah, I thought I was, but then
No.
they don't have a comparable product that's for the price that they offered it a month ago, so I gotta find a new vendor.
What's that do, get screwed into the wall or something?
Yeah. That's the plan. Questions for me?
All set? Thanks.
So, thank you.
Thanks. Would you like to finish the job?
Could we? Thank you, sir.
Because I know, John, you're staying, so.
Okay. Thank you.
I was told you were staying anyway.
Uh-oh. Thank you, good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Rachel.
evening. Hello, hello. First thing you heard, a lot of the other department heads refer to is Community Helpers Day on October 8th, excuse me. We normally have fire prevention just because that's the way I was raised. But
No doubt of that.
we have to offer it up to police. So Community Helper Day on October 8th, and we have a commitment from fire and police. That's always wonderful, and Central Forest Fire Warden, retired chief, will be there. A big shout out to Gordon Jackson, who is working tirelessly on the back poison ivy bittersweet slope. Yes, Gordon never mind, we're being recorded. Gordon did this without being asked, but he did come in and ask what I wanted, which is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is.
He's doing a lot of work. And then I went to Mandy and I got our tax map, just so sometimes we do have little after schoolers and friends that like to take a little trail. I want to make sure that they're on our property and just understand our plot a little bit better.
Is part of what he's doing making a little trail for them?
No, he's just clearing poison ivy and bittersweet, which, farmers market is so thrilled with extra light, a little extra room, and I use that as programming space.
No, it's beautiful back there, okay.
Yeah, so I'll probably blaze a little trail because I want to make a little trail for Cheryl for outdoor programming in the woods, and I want to make sure I wasn't on someone else's property.
Always a good idea.
So he's doing great, and I'm gonna do more of that. Not sure if I'm gonna get paving, but in anticipation of that paving, I've asked, Discovery Books was sold to Bay State Books. And they're our book bin company who comes and redistributes it to underserved populations. I've asked them for a better looking bin. That's been kind of a fight we've been going through for a few years. But now, because it's a new company, I think we'll get that. So,
Is Discovery Books defunct?
I just think the entity that was Discovery Books was bought by a larger one. which is basic, but it's the same services. And it's a good working relationship. They come, and they also help me with the book sale. And
Yeah, okay,
do
good.
town hall. So, Cal is wonderful in so many ways, but polite reminders are the forte. And so just after I leave here, I'm gonna go film a little library governance 101 video. So, that was an actionable item that I kind of dropped on my radar. So I'm gonna make it very brief. I had done a longer one 2 years ago, but realized that was before you came on board. So I'm gonna do like a little short video. I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, probably make it, Cal will probably help me figure out how to make that private. And it'll just be like everything you've always wanted to know about New Hampshire library governance, in terms of budgeting, permissions, who's responsible for what, and the understanding of how libraries work in New Hampshire, because it is unlike every other library system except Nebraska.
Really?
Yes.
Will you have a script of that, and you could just email it to us to put in our little file in addition to the video?
I have, I use the slides from Terry Knowles,
Oh.
so I can always,
Perfect.
I use her slides with her permission, but I'm also received permission to be able to send you a PDF of them.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
They are in Terry Knowles' language,
Yeah.
RSA's. So the video, in addition to the PDF, is helpful, just because on the video I'll explain in kind of layman's terms.
Ms. Lehman appreciates that. Thank you.
My pleasure. And that is all I have. Thanks.
Did you say Community Helper Day was October 8th?
October 8th, correct,
At the library?
at the library at 10 o'clock.
Right.
But Chief Pryor just said that he's the only one on that day, which we understand, and I'm very aware of making sure that if there's a call, you know how to speak.
Yep, hopefully we'll get lucky and.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say the word, you know, it's bad to say that word,
I
so.
Don't jinx things.
I do.
So we won't say it.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
The cards look great.
Yes, they do.
Well, the gardens do look
Oh,
beautiful.
my goodness, yes, and
They'll be great in the spring, you know, when all those little black-eyed Susans come up and everything. They're
they're
great.
absolutely stunning, and of course that is Danita and Ange Merch, and they're just doing amazing work. Weekly, actually 2 or 3 times a week they're working on it, so.
Great.
And we have a new, there's another memorial going up, to honor Dr. Eckhart. And I'm working with the family, they have given me money for a memorial bench, to add that to the Greater Nebraska Memorial Garden. And I think that's gonna be around Columbus Day, so we're working with the family. So many families like to make donations to the library, so we have a standard policy for that. So that would be a little bit more city room.
Do you have any plans to sell any more of the bricks? Because people keep asking me, often at farmers market, they go over and they look at them and there has been, you know, not a huge amount of interest, but some amount of interest in doing more bricks.
I can offer that to the friends.
Okay. Okay.
I still have the bricks, that's how I repair books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll mention that to the friends. Because they're the ones that can fundraise for me.
Fran,
You'll see that on video.
That's
Okay.
Rachel.
thank you.
Thank you.
Joe. Come on down.
Keep it simple, you're looking at highway staffing now. And
We've heard.
we have a guy starting tomorrow.
Oh, good, okay. Full-time?
No,
Part-time?
very,
Okay.
very part-time.
Okay, understood. But it's something.
We're down 2 big trucks, one went on the hook, wouldn't start.
Hmm.
And I'm doing some brush repair on the oldest Sterling. And that'll be for inspection, that's my last vehicle for inspection, so
Okay,
everything else is passed to this point.
that's a good thing.
So will both
First-
those trucks end up being inspected? You're going to get one to inspect, but the other one, they'll both end up inspected eventually, these two?
I hope so. They have to push them little white flakes around.
Okay, gotcha.
See, as one breaks down, I'll just hop into that next one.
Right.
Yeah. October, first week of October, there should be a new yellow piece of equipment up there.
Do we have a firm date, John, or they just?
October 1st.
Okay, that's a firm date, so that's
October
perfect.
1st at before lunchtime it is
Okay.
supposed to arrive.
I won't
Really?
say who, but somebody laid down the law on that. Let's see how big.
Can we come crack a bottle of champagne over the,
could.
Yeah.
over the board? I think we should.
Basically, we just did touch up and a little dust control here and there.
Yeah.
So that's my month.
Yep.
Oh yeah, a little classwork.
Yeah.
Is that good?
John attended the
Oh.
Primex supervisors class.
Very good.
Anything for me?
No, other than we think,
Plan on
Yeah.
advertising in the Concord Monitor and the Union Leader.
Yeah.
For help.
Yeah.
We do have one private contractor that has agreed to the contract. He's going to be bringing in the insurance forms and we'll sign a contract with him
Yeah.
for that.
okay.
Plowing or
Wow.
just?
Just for small projects.
Yep.
I think that's all I have.
All right.
There's no, I was thinking this afternoon, there are no other, or are there towns nearby that have part-time highway that would want to be also part-time? Maybe two, that would be a hard share.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I think that brings us to Mr. Poland, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Good evening,
me.
sir. Why don't you come on up to the table?
Sure. Just so you know, I don't hear well and I'm legally blind. It's a pleasure
We'll
meeting you
speak
all.
up and say hello. Hey, Craig.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Greg.
Call him Alan.
Helen.
Oh, Ellen.
Helen Kelly.
Yeah, this is my wife, Corinne.
Yes, hi, Craig.
Yes.
Hi.
So, anyhow, we've been Windswept Farm for 25 years. I don't know if you're familiar where it's at.
I go by your
Yes.
place at least twice a day, so I know exactly where
Everybody
it is.
does.
Yeah.
Let me see, this is 132. This is Old Schoolhouse Road, the power lines that runs through,
Oh, that's a good picture, though.
and the culvert.
Yeah,
Yeah, it shows all the acreage in the fields too.
okay. So how's that?
So apparently you had a meeting, I don't know when it was, March, February, you know, in regards to a trailer. And I wish I would have known, you know, you were having a meeting about it. I could have cleared up a lot of things with it. The letter that you guys sent, Beth, I don't think you were part of that.
I was not quite on the board at the time that letter was sent, but I
Yeah.
did read it today.
Okay. Yeah, so I just want to clarify a few things on it. The right of way, you know, on Old Schoolhouse Road, the road is jammed up against our property line. And, but you know, some of the points I was in there, let me just tell you kind of what happened. I got with, John O'Connor as far as the location of it, because, it's a hay trailer and we can't keep it where we normally do in the winter time because we have metal roofs and cars have to back up further. And, so anyhow, I asked John, two locations we could put it. One is
on the north side of Old Schoolhouse Road on my property. And the other is where I have been putting it for a long time, right across from my shop. So anyhow, he said, well, I don't like either one of them there. My concern was putting it alongside the road. When they come up and plow, they push all the snow that way towards where the trailer would be on the property, and then the town would be liable if there's any damage to it. So the only sensible place to me is where I kept it the whole time, you know, across from my shop, which is on the right of way there.
And where is that on this? I'll come to you.
Thanks.
So if this is the barns and the houses. There's the culvert, there's your,
Let me find my house.
find your house,
Yes.
there's the house and the pool.
Yeah. But it's right there. It's right there.
Okay,
Where it
right
says
where it says
Old-
Old Road is where you're currently parking it?
Yes, but across from the shop against that side of the right
Against
of
this
way.
side, okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
So where was I?
So you've been parking the trailer up there, you said?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah.
So,
John didn't want it in either place, so I dealt with Ken. So we were talking back and forth. I talked to him about the situation there. And he said, okay, I'll get back with you in a week or two. So, okay, don't make it any longer because I need hay. Because this thing's been going on for quite a while. And so anyhow, I waited 3 weeks, never heard from him. And apparently in the letter he said he sent the email, which I never received for whatever reason. I don't know, I looked back at it, I never saw any email, and I don't know why it'd be an email, because we had always been talking on the phone. So I had to make a decision, so I put it there. So that's why I did it. I'm not disregarding the town at all, I was trying to work with everybody there. I'm not just saying, well, screw you, I'm putting it here. So anyhow, that's how that happened with it. Some of the other statements, where was it? Like in the minutes, it says, John says that I improved the road without permission. Well, we've been there 25 years, and where he's talking about was junk everywhere. Cement, old equipment, and I've been cleaning it up over the years. So yes, I cleaned it up. And I put in stone myself so people wouldn't get stuck in it.
So you're not talking about the road itself, you're talking about the right-of-way area.
The right of way
That was
where
a
the
mess.
trailer was
Yeah.
temporarily put. You know, it wasn't there on a full-time basis. So anyway, I'm just trying to clarify some of the stuff that was said. Let me see.
Can I just ask one question, Greg, while you're looking? Cal, do we have a copy of that letter in our packet? I know we got it emailed to us.
It's in the apartments folder.
Yeah, this is the minutes also of what was said. There.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I mean, when I was there.
So you have the email and the letter.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, just the one copy? Yeah.
Yes. That I got, that I saw, this I wanted to. Okay, so this was,
Yeah, so John said at the meeting that he can't have it there because they maintains the road for snow removal. Well, they never go past that trailer. They turn around before the trailer. For a short while, they did, because I told the town crew, if it's easier to turn around in the parking lot, yeah, feel free. And they did. I think that John has told them, don't do that anymore. Fine. So after years of turning around where they did, they pushed snow and it's eroded away and pushing it into a 10-acre field. Now that whole field drains down through that opening there of where they've been plowing. So I asked John, you put a little material in there, you know, so it goes into the woods like it always has. And instead of coming out, hits the road, goes down the road, it goes down my parking lot and floods my indoor. Well, yeah, you say, oh, I can dig a ditch here and run it out and dump it down the road. John, you don't dump water on a road, you know, just put a little material in there. Well, it wasn't cooperative at all. So the town crew came in, they were grading it, and I asked one of them, I told them the problem, it took them 5 minutes, put a little bit of fill in there, you know, that solved the problem. You know, you did have a good crew, you know, with it, the road crew there. So anyhow, I think I've kind of covered that here, letter and meeting. Now I'm kind of into Eversource. It would have been good to get a little warning from John, hey, they're using your road for a main access point. Huh. No, I get, oh, we're coming in next week. Yeah, no preparation at all, you know, for it. And, well, you know, one day we had 194 trucks go past our place, trying to run a horse operation with that going on. And the size of the equipment, and, well, you know, springtime turned into a mud hole, the whole road. So I called Eversource, you know. I didn't get a good answer from him. I called John, you know, about the situation.
Well,
Now,
we couldn't even go up it. It was knee deep in mud, and so we had a lot of lessons, horseback riding lessons. That it was a whole day. Actually, it was a day and a half that we had to cancel lessons because nobody could go up and down the road.
Yeah, our clientele. The county sheriff lives at our place. He says, I gotta be able to get out, you know, when I need to get out. And so anyhow, I called John, I asked him, who gave him permission to use Old Schoolhouse Road? I wanted to know if I was talking to the right person. He said, I did, you know, it's a public right of way. So I told him it's a mud hole over here, you know, we can't get up or down there. And he said, call Eversource, they own the road. What? They own the road, the public right of way? Yeah, so I didn't get anywhere with John again. And as soon as I hung up, I got a text from Eversource. We'll have it fixed within the hour. Great. Yeah. Well, it wasn't within the hour.
But did they?
It was some days.
Did they fix, or at least fix it so you could get out?
I'm sorry.
Did they at least fix it so you could get in and out at that point?
No.
Oh, wait, they
No,
did.
but shortly after.
Yeah, it was within a day, wasn't it?
Yes, as far as that part, access to 132. They ended up, they put down fabric on the road, they put down 6 8-inch riprap, and then they put a skim coat of a quarry pack, and quarry pack on top of that, which is great.
Yeah.
But that raised the road 1.5 to 2 feet there, you know, so, and they did that all the way 132 all the way down to the power lines there. And so, which is great, but I always maintain the side of the road there, mowing it. There's a section I can't do anymore, I can't mow, so. And so anyhow, with all our openings into the farm, it's up high, it's a drop off, you know, and John should have been on top of that, you know. You've got to feather it out into every opening there if you're gonna raise the road like that. Well, I had to do that battle, and some of them were still just really steep. In fact, I damaged my pickup truck pulling a gooseneck in because it's so steep, you know, it would damage the tailgate. Well, I fixed it myself, you know.
Fix the road.
After that, the road. Yeah. So anyhow, with this road built up so high, that was another thing that John, they're grading it. I asked him, can you pitch the road so it doesn't go down my parking lot? No, that didn't happen. Yeah, so now if you try and pitch it, you can't pitch it unless you put more material on, because you go down just a little bit and it's that riprap that's in there. So now with the road going down to the power lines, it's raised the road so much, it's jammed over to the property line. A good part of it, my boundary wall is buried. And then I marked on there where a culvert is in there. Well, anyhow, now that culvert, they buried the ends of it. Okay, they opened it up, with a shovel, but it's almost vertical there, this stone. And on my property side, I have 2 pipes that go 800 feet across the field and dumps out into the woods so I can hay it, because that 10-acre field I was telling you about earlier, that all goes through the woods and everything goes through that culvert across my field. So I'm concerned about that's not going to hold, with vertical sides over time. And the road goes towards that culvert, and then it goes like this, because of that culvert, so it's very narrow right there, So I've asked Eversource, what are you going to do with that? Do you need concrete head walls on there, to hold that back over time? Well, talk to the town, just talk with O'Connor and tell them it's a class 5 road, we don't maintain it, basically do whatever you want. I can show you what Eversource said about that. This is their tax back to me of what the town said.
So that's from Eversource about the culvert. This culvert you have marked on.
It basically says you can do whatever you want with it. Well, to have a road down there like that, for the town, it's advantageous to have a good road. If there's a fire out there, you can get equipment or any emergency that might occur that's going down there. They put all this money into this road. They've done the power lines of Route 2 of my fields, and they've spent bundles of millions of dollars of our taxpayer money, because they get a lot from the feds. To do this, they should at least, the town should at least get something decent out of it, which is that road there.
So just a question for me, is that a class 6 road or a class 5?
I'm sorry, it goes from class 5 by our buildings to class 6.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so the culvert we're talking about is in a class 6 section, right?
Yes.
Okay, understood.
So anyhow, I'd like to just get the culvert fixed properly so my drainage still works and handles that amount of water that goes through there. You ought to see it at different times. Pretty dry now though, isn't it?
And eventually that culvert is the responsibility of Eversource? Is that part of them fixing the road after they abused it, going back and forth to the site?
We discussed with Eversource previous to them going in that they were gonna work with the landowner on the class 5 section. They were supposed to have notified you ahead of time that they're gonna be working there. They assured us when they came in.
That's who informed me. Oh, we're coming in next week.
It was a week ahead.
We don't have any control over them. They came to our meeting, met with us, and they said that they were gonna contact the abutters and landowners.
Generally speaking, they've been very good.
And then as far as the culvert's concerned, that never came up until you pointed it out at the end of the project.
Yes. Yeah, and they weren't even aware of it. As they're doing the thing, I'm talking to foremans, I've met everybody out there. And, my concern, you're gonna crush this thing and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I've been working with them.
Yeah.
You know,
So
constantly.
have they given you any indication they intend to make it right?
Oh, that culvert?
The culvert?
I've talked to one person that kind of is the middle guy for the construction project group, or I think that's what it is, Mark Nash.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was Alex Green, the project manager before that, and then now he's gone. Now they have this customer relation guy.
Okay.
that I have to go
So Mark
through.
Nash wasn't giving you any help on that?
Well,
That's
no,
who- that's who we
you
deal with.
didn't even know where it was, you know, until I met him down there, and then he gives it to the project team, and project team decide get with the town and see what they want to do with it. Yeah, so I have no idea what they plan on doing with it. I've had somebody in the business look at it, what do you do with this? And then he said, yeah, concrete head walls, which means digging it up. You gotta put a new pipe in. They'll do anything you want, really. They have to make it as good or better there. And they buried my wall, that's illegal. You know, I can live with that.
They buried the wall with the material that they added to the road?
Yes,
Stone wall or what kind of wall?
it's a stone wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boundary, right?
Yes.
Property,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, between the right of way and my property, which
Yeah.
the property owner owns that stone wall.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have one last thing.
Yeah.
Parking lot with the hay trailer and that, there's a short section between the right of way and the parking lot. I would like to either remove that stone wall to create more area that I can keep the trailer there year round, or at least rebuild it. You know, so it's not this wide.
Yeah, it's kind of all fallen down, the stone wall, so now
Okay.
it's taken up a lot.
So is that a stone wall within the interior of your property, or is it another property boundary wall?
The stone wall belongs to me,
Okay,
and then it's the right of way on the other side of it. Yeah.
I think I understand.
So is that on the right-hand side, driving up just past your shop?
Yes, on the right-hand side, yes.
Next to where you park the trailer in the summer, in your
Yes.
parking lot?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at that point, is it a town road or?
Well, it's a class 5 road up until the end of the driveway, the last driveway.
It was his shop. There was an opening. It used to be tight because you had to be careful of hitting your plow on the stone wall.
Yeah.
They made it class 5 to that stone wall. That stone wall has disappeared. It's now almost 50 feet wide.
Yeah, I dealt with a previous road agent with that. Yeah, this is just a mud hole. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So at that point is where it changed to class 6,
I understand.
further down.
Yeah, and that's disputable, but I'm fine with it because the original town map that they have shows it to the end of my parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I'd rather do it myself because it's easier.
You're
You
talking
know,
about the
instead of having
plowing.
to.
You're talking about the plowing.
Yes. Yeah, I plowed from that shop, I mean, where my trailer was past.
So is the culvert seems like your big issue, and is that is Eversource?
trailer in the summer.
No, wait a minute, hold on. Photo.
He's talking about this section right here.
I got you, okay. All right.
Oh, sorry.
So there's the trailer in the summer.
Yeah.
So this is the road. This
Yeah.
is the section he's talking about between the road and where that trailer's parked now.
Okay. So where, in the past, where have we turned the plow around?
So there's a barway right up here.
Okay.
Where they pull in and they back
Yep.
up and they
Yep. So they pull
Instead
in,
of,
back
instead
up.
of pulling through the driveway
Yep.
like this and
Yep.
going around,
Yeah.
they pull up,
they back in. and
Okay.
they-
All right.
And they can still do that?
Yes. So if the trailer remains there, there shouldn't be an issue then, right?
Right, so I think you're talking about that stone wall that's between where your trailer's parked in the summer.
Yes,
To the
between
left,
the right
towards-
of way
towards the
and
right of
the
way.
parking lot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wanna get rid of that stone wall and
Yeah,
flatten that out so you can park the trailer in there.
I can show you a picture of that too.
If that's the case, does that make the trailer out of the way?
Well, it depends on where he parks it.
Yes. It's just moving it over like 3 feet or so. This is what that in my parking lot.
Okay. I got you.
So it's,
So show us
so it's
where
that
you want
brush
to
to the,
remove.
it's brush to the left that
Yeah,
he wants to
okay,
clear
okay,
off from the
yeah.
trailer.
Let me just show you. And the stone wall is, you can partially see it here.
Oh, so the stone wall comes out, not parallel with the road, but
No, it's
perpendicular?
parallel with the
Oh, it
road,
is?
yes.
Okay, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the stone wall is probably between the two openings, maybe 30 feet or something like that
So,
long.
do you wanna take out that stone wall and all that other stuff that's there too, the brush and the trees and the everything?
Yeah.
So does that make everything easier, wider,
It-
more passable?
I don't go down that far.
Okay,
I go from his garage.
yep,
I've asked them to turn the blade, sweep everything to the left. They back into the byway, they're out.
okay,
So it wouldn't impact our
yeah.
plow or
So,
anything.
yeah, so as far as we're concerned, that wouldn't have any impact on plowing operations.
No, 'cause they don't plow there anyhow.
Right,
They make it
yeah.
more maneuverable for everybody.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. But I'm just, it's the proper thing to do to get with the town.
yeah, no, we appreciate you coming in. I guess the other suggestion, when was the last time that you and Mark Nash spoke? How long has it been? I'll be with you.
3 days? And I
Okay,
don't know,
So-
I'm constantly talking with them about
Right.
different things of the field reseeding, then they throw a conservation blend on it. Well, what's in that? Well, yeah,
but I guess what I'm trying to
It's
get at is,
toxic.
where are you and Mark with the culvert?
I haven't heard back from the team.
Okay,
Yeah, and that conversation with him was 3-4 weeks ago, I'm
Okay.
guessing.
I guess my suggestion is, call Mark and see where you are with that specific issue, the culvert.
Well, they've left it that they can do what they want. They contacted the town and whatever they want, that's what they're doing. And yeah, I'll definitely be following up. So what's your ideas on this? But it should be properly done. They originally wanted to take some rocks and stack on top of it.
I got you.
Well, that's not gonna hold.
Right, yeah.
Over time.
John, what did you want to say?
Okay, Mark got hold of me, and I went down and looked at it. The pipe was open. It's 6-inch ledge pack. It's all solid. This is Class 6 road, good to go. I'm done with it. If you don't do anything, I'm fine with it.
Right. But we have we don't have to say on Class 6 road, do we?
It's a still town road, we can certainly tell them we want it.
Okay.
They impacted it, we can tell them we want it fixed to where we think it is gonna work. You know, we depend on the road agent to see if it's
Yeah.
clear and everything. If there's a concern that it's gonna plug up, or if it needs some kind of header or something around it. I'm in constant, I talk with Mark Nash once a week.
Yeah.
And I can talk with him and ask him to go down and meet with myself and John and the landowner, and we can try
Why
and
don't we
figure
do
something out.
that? Mr. Pullen, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I have a lot of pictures of that culvert. It's hard to tell the vertical drop on it, but that's the material that's falling over.
Okay.
All the
down here.
materials underneath there that's falling in, and it's filling up the drainage area.
It's not
in my
flowing the
pipes.
way it used to.
I'm not sure I understood what you
It's
meant.
not flowing the way it used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to see, but
Yeah.
here's my pipes.
And the,
Gotcha.
I have two pipes, like I say, goes 800 feet over, and that was pretty
Yeah.
more intensive to put those in there.
So why don't, we'll arrange a meeting with you, Eversource, and the town at the site.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Yeah. But we're gone the end of October.
Understood.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
and we're all set for where the hay trailers park, where he uses
Well, he's gonna park it.
there.
Where it is.
Yeah.
When
And
he
clear the
takes stone
stone wall.
wall, he's gonna park it there.
Yeah.
Do we need to say anything about the stone wall other than fine?
Yeah, I don't think we actually have a
You
say.
guys don't have
Yeah.
to say
Yeah,
anything.
okay, so thank you for letting us
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Can I do some of that stone wall?
That's up to you. We don't, the town doesn't have a say
Okay.
there, so.
Great.
So you,
All right.
so, yes,
Good night, folks. Thank you.
alrighty.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig, thank you, Craig.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Back to. All right. A and B vending. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome.
Oh,
Do
did
you want
want
to
his,
stand?
No, I can just put this in front of you. I just got the set, if you don't mind, I'll just. This is Mr. Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, my name's Jonathan Hawley, I'm the architect. And I've already been to the planning board, this was approved with conditions, and because there's some kind of overlay in the industrial zone, we had to come back to the selectmen for approval.
Oh, okay.
So,
I have the minutes of the planning.
Very good.
board meeting, yeah.
so the existing driveway is right here, right now.
Yep.
And
West Road, wait a minute, where are we? Okay, West
this is
Road,
Hall Street.
got it,
West Road is, because this is the underlay of the old plan.
okay.
But we're moving the driveway from here to here. The net result is 284 square feet less pervious surface. So the pervious surface for the whole site is reduced by 284 square feet when we move the driveway to this location. I believe the road agent went down and looked at it.
I'm good with it.
You're good, John?
We had proposed to put a rock barrier here and just loam and seed this. I mean, take up the pavement and then loam and seed it. But planning board asked us if we would make this a mound, basically just a raised berm. And that's fine. I mean, we'll just take the material that we took out. So this is the addition that they're putting on, this is a long loading dock. And I argued with them when I was drawing this that they're gonna bring a tractor trailer in and they're gonna back it in. I said, you're not gonna do it. And they said, yes, we are. And then when they saw it in the ground, they said, oh, I guess you were right. So they now want to move
Thank you.
the driveway, can I say? So I'm here just to review this with you, to ask any questions that you might have. I don't know what else.
Yeah, the selectmen have, because of the covenants of that industrial area, the selectmen have the final say on landscaping.
Yes.
So that's kind of where their
Pass this
Their
down.
purview is on this.
Minutes. Ken, you may or may not have been at that meeting?
No,
Okay.
I was not there, but I do know what we're talking about there. I think we also are supposed to have input on the siding and colors and stuff like that.
Yeah, any of the,
Right.
right, those are those things, yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
small,
visual things are the input. Yeah.
this is the small building addition, which is just an overhead door and a loading dock.
Okay.
This is being installed inside the existing paved parking area, so there is no impact.
Gotcha.
It just drops down 4 feet as a dock leveler, an overhead door. We're adding an overhead door on the inside. So the metal panel is matching the panel of the building, the color. It's a little shed roof that sheds that way to the pavement in the back.
Yeah.
There's a couple of yard drains over here. There's a linear drain at the bottom of the loading dock that actually daylights on it over here, which is just vertical. So we're here to talk about this, I guess.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
the loading dock is in, the concrete and foundations are in, the steel starts in the
Yep. Yep, and this will just straighten everything out so tractor trailers can.
Exactly. So the idea is they're still gonna pull in like this,
And then just pull
but
it
they
out.
won't have to, they'll pull to this point and then back in. So they're not coming
Makes
up
sense.
to
Yeah,
the road.
right.
So they're not back on the road, is what they're
Yeah, they're not. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of the mound? What does this do for anything? It's the, oh, Greg was just here and just left. Kent, any idea why mound versus anything else?
It's up to the builder, I guess. They're not gonna be using, it's not a road anymore, it's
He
just
said the planning board wanted it.
Current planning board asked.
at the vote, wasn't I, that day? I don't know what went on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know what
they
day it
just, the preference was that it be a berm and not, so we just said, there was some question, oh, somebody's gonna drive over that if it's lawn. Well, I don't know if they will, but we offered to put, just stack rocks along
Yeah.
the front face. And
And will that berm still be seeded and grass?
it will, it'll just be mounted up.
Yeah.
So the top will be about 4 feet higher than there, so it's just gonna look like a mound, like a leach field,
Yeah,
you know, basically.
yeah. Interesting.
So it'll be loam and seed.
How do you mow that?
I don't know if they will. None of this is mowed now. I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's just all woods on the outside edge.
Uh-huh.
And eventually that'll be woods, I expect too. It's not
Exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
So,
So in reality, it saves them about 3 or 4 trucks of material that they have to haul off the site because they dug a hole here.
So those mound it
Gotcha.
there?
They're just gonna
dump
drop
it.
it.
Alright, well.
loam it.
There you go.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm fine with it.
yeah, me too.
Good.
I have no objections.
I'm gonna make it home for dinner for 6:30.
Where do you live? You got 4 minutes.
And we have a new police officer, so
Please be careful. So you don't even have to move rocks, you just.
do we need a motion?
Nope.
Okay, you know,
You're all set.
it looks good to us. So,
Proceed.
exactly.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a good
very
night.
much. You too.
Good luck making it home.
Yes.
All right, where are we at? Are we at the fire chief contract?
Yes, that's just new business, and that is a reappointment for 2 years.
Right.
Unless you have any discussion or objection or
Does
anything like that,
anyone-
the chief had
Yeah.
come to me and asked if you were gonna, if he would like to stay another 2 years.
I'd like to have him stay another 2 years.
That's pretty much it.
He's doing a great job.
So I think it's in the, is that in the please sign folder or the new business folder?
Business folder.
New business. So we don't need a motion, we'll just sign it.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes, they will burn it up, load and seed it, and let it go back to natural. That's what's gonna happen with that berm. Okay.
All right, the rest of the contract is underneath.
Yes. Get a pen.
I get an extra one.
All right, yeah. There's one.
Yeah.
Or came down or something.
Yep. Please, join us. Next on the agenda is the school tax rate update, so
All right.
it seems appropriate to have you here. Thank you.
I was just I'm present just to answer any questions the Board of Selectmen might have. I had a conversation with Ken last week based on Board of Selectmen's request for the school district to put something out to the taxpayers describing the tax impact, particularly the school portion of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Ken, if they had an update from you?
So we actually came up with a thing, if you wanna hand that. This is what, myself and our assessor prepared, just a short, one pager. I did put questions can be directed to the school district. You had mentioned that at the meeting, so we put that in there.
And I believe we've all reviewed the document.
Yeah, it's just changed a little bit since this morning, but it's mostly
Yeah.
just moving things around.
We tried to make sure that we bolded that this is an estimate only in several places.
Because DRA doesn't set those until October.
Right. That's what, we said, the final tax rate we set sometime in late October, so.
We're set with John.
Yes.
John, we should be set.
Oh,
We got anything else?
No, we're all set, yeah. We're all set with you.
I'd like to hang to that last one.
Which last one?
The
Oh,
executive session.
that's right.
Yeah, why don't you?
Thanks, John. Thank you for, appreciate it.
Is that,
Yeah, what I mentioned to Ken when we had our discussion is that we would be more than happy to have a collaborative effort in putting together a letter that comes from the Board of Selectmen and Ken's office, and we would be more than happy to put together a description of the school portion of the tax rate increase and include that in that letter. This seems like this is something that's just gonna go out.
yeah, we have a town newsletter that goes out, and the deadline for it was last Monday.
Okay.
I contacted them and asked if they would hold on our deadline so we could get something from the selectmen, approval from the selectmen at least to put something like that out. And I was gonna get their approval and send it to you and say, does this look okay? And, but since you're here.
Yeah. I mean, at first glance, it's just a general letter.
Yeah.
If the Board of Selectmen, once the tax rate is actually set, and you have some hard numbers to
Right.
share with the taxpayers when you're explaining their tax bills, we will be more than happy to put together a section describing the school portion of that tax bill to provide you the content to
That would be great.
put right into that letter.
Yeah.
So again, we're more than happy to have a collaborative effort with the town in putting information out to the taxpayers when it comes time for the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator to describe the tax bill
And
in
those numbers were,
detail.
what did we decide? In October that'll come out?
Yeah,
Those-
late October
Late
is when the
October?
DRA sets.
Yeah,
that.
so people will have a heads up FYI, and then once we get the hard numbers, I would say, yeah, it'd be really great to have another description, because people will still be, curious, about why the numbers are the way they are.
Yeah.
Even after this, but this was our first, as we say in my family, heads up FYI.
Yeah, and that I think for us, we want the townspeople to be aware as soon as possible. There are people who will begin saving, we hope now, for this tax bill that's coming
Right.
in December, so.
Right.
Our town has a lot of fixed income residents, so that's our concern.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the board is aware of the fact that we're more than happy to be collaborative and putting information out.
So we
We're ready
definitely
for more
would like to
detail.
take you up on that offer. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
great.
More than happy. If you want to, your next letter that goes out and you say, school portion of your tax bill is based on all of these factors, we'll put that together for you.
Right,
So you could just copy and paste it and throw it into your letter. We'll be more than happy.
Please
to.
plan on doing that. I
Okay,
think that
just
would
let
be
us
great.
know when
And if
when
you're
plan on doing that.
indeed going to pick up the phone when people call at this number, as
Absolutely.
That's
I
great.
just want to know, when is this going out? Because we would
So
anticipate
this will be
some calls.
the October 1st newsletter
Okay,
is when this will be published.
great.
And that'll go out on all our town, the town email and the town website, and it's going to go to every place that we have to put information out on the town.
Great.
And then as the numbers get, more
So
firm.
what I'll do is, I'd like for our business administrator to look at these numbers in detail, quite honestly, just to make sure that they're what we have as well. And I'll reach out to you if there's any adjustments to this letter that need to be made on the number portion of that.
When did Mark, he said he was going to hold it until
They're gone today, they'll be back in town tomorrow sometime, so he said anytime Tuesday or Wednesday.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Okay.
shoot you an email. Let you
So-
know.
Okay, great.
Thank
No
you.
problem. You're welcome.
We appreciate your time and
Yeah, just let us
Appreciate your
know, and
time.
so we'll be more than happy to collaborate with you on that letter when the tax rate is actually set and you want to put together something more detailed to the taxpayer.
very good.
Okay?
Thank you,
We
sir.
will, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. All right.
Good night.
All right. We've got Greg and Mike, do you wanna?
Yeah, they're not on the agenda, I don't know. Did you guys call us or ask to get put on the agenda, or?
I thought we had gotten added at 6:30. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why don't, come on down, guys.
Perfect time.
Might be
Yeah.
somebody else's agenda,
Yeah.
but we're here now.
I did see an email late this afternoon from you.
We must have crossed
Oh,
last
okay.
week.
All right, okay.
Right. Great. I'm glad you had time for us. Thank you. So we have a draft of the next
Thanks.
Invest New Hampshire application. The Invest New Hampshire program is 100% funds to work on zoning and
Okay.
those community engagement. So it's kind of a follow-up to the previous Invest New Hampshire grant. And to be honest, I think we're pretty excited to be asked to talk about the success story for the Invest New Hampshire program and just the process that the planning board went through last fall to gear up for town meeting. This is kind of that next step and to try to get some funding to support the continued conversation about zoning changes with, a big effort on recreating a lot of that public engagement outreach that the planning board worked so hard on last fall. This one can also include some admin money for the town.
Great.
So there's a 5% in there that goes through for when, if you want to move forward, just to handle that invoicing process.
Great.
But again, 100% reimbursable from the state. We talked about how things take a while, and things always seem to take a while. We actually, and same for a couple of other towns, you have to make that decision when you're gearing up for town meeting, how much is too much?
Yeah.
The workforce conversation was too much last time. I think we had a lot of good conversations about mixed use and uses around exit 18.
And affordability.
And affordability. And, but really just did the change of use and table of uses for town meeting. And, and went beyond what we had talked about in Invest New Hampshire, a lot about ADUs and things like that. But this is an opportunity to get some funding to continue that conversation and, work towards, maybe do some public engagement to gear up for town meeting 25, but this is really about a steady process to town meeting 26.
I was surprised when Mike told me how we were considered such a success with our warrant articles and stuff. I mean, they passed, so I guess that is successful, but I felt a little beat up, I suppose.
They all passed, right?
Right. It took a little beating and it passed, so I would also.
Did you crawl out of the ring with a black eye, like the metal?
A little reluctant to get back into it, but it's the job and it all seems things that the town is interested in and are important for the town.
Yeah. So, Mike, no cost to the town.
No cost to the town.
Oh, we should tell you, we vote tomorrow night on the master plan, the plan for tomorrow. And now we won't vote, we'll break it into parts. Each section we'll vote on separately, so that if we need to do a little more work on something, we can. But hopefully we'll get some section better.
Greg, is the plan tomorrow though to vote on one section or all the sections?
As many sections as we can get the board to agree they want to vote.
Okay, understood.
What time was your meeting?
Well said, my friend.
7.
You started 7?
Here.
Here.
Well.
So it'd be great if you all consider to, move forward on the application. We would need a support letter that we could write for you, Ken, if you wanted to move that way. And the typical process is having Ken sign it. The applications are due next Monday, so perfect timing. We would go to the planning board, because the planning board, we talked about this, but we need a letter of support from the planning board, which is a good thing if you need that if you're gonna move forward on this type of thing. But I think the ability to kind of do a similar process with the lessons we learned next year.
One of the important lessons, I think, was, thank you, Edgar, that we had a lot of online availability to the process. So, and it was well publicized, so that there was, which takes away, if people want to participate, you have an opportunity. We're making it as possible as possible.
Making, going earlier, doubling up, it was all helpful, I think, to get the word out there.
So what do we need to do
So
now?
you need to make a
This
motion to allow me to sign this.
Understood.
or,
Any discussion?
I'd kind of like to read the whole thing, but if that's the,
It's not long.
if it's not, the purpose is to apply for the grant to,
And then the various sections are outlined in the grant application. So the challenge and project goals, we talked about how we got here, outcomes and deliverables, zoning, that conversation. It's not limited to, conversations about Exit 18 or cluster or anything like that, but it's housing related,
but the goal of the grant is basically to give the town money to be able to work with Central New Hampshire Regional Planning to continue this discussion with the eventual goal of having a lot more solid plan by 2026.
No, well,
25?
for town meeting 26.
For town meeting.
For warrant articles.
Okay.
For 2026. Page 4, task 1, task 2, gives it in a nutshell of, I think, update housing
Oh, there we go.
related zoning ordinances and regulations. ADUs, detached ADUs, we've limited in our last ordinance change to only 2 compliant lots. Well, we've discovered that is a bad way to word that. We need to word it differently, because the intent was to keep detached ADUs from going in on very small lots where it would be a challenge for septic and water, and naturally it was proposed by the folks at Sherwood Forest. But we have many non-compliant lots that are flagship lots that have plenty of acreage. So we're just trying to, and that maybe part of something becomes a special exception, or part of the compliance becomes a special exception if you don't have the acreage or something. We're trying to find the simplest to administer, simplest for the applicant and for the town to administer.
Oh, okay, so we're just, okay. Does the amount, the budget that you have on the very last page include anything? I see for Central New Hampshire Regional Planning. Does it include any costs that might be incurred for, like Gail, land use administrator, any time or extra time?
The bottom line administrative support, 5% is to cover things like
Administrative gate costs.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't say why we would say no. It seems like an excellent thing to, at no cost to the town, excellent advice, a continuation of a conversation that everybody's obviously interested in, and an issue that's not going away is only gonna get more attention. Seems like
Actually, the workforce thing is probably of most concern to residents, whether they're aware of it or not,
Yeah.
because our workforce regulation is out of date. And when your regulation is out of date, it opens the door for a developer to come in and say, you're out of date, we're gonna do what we want to do.
Okay,
All right, so I'll make a motion that we direct the town administrator to sign the grant application for the InvestNH Municipal Planning and Zoning Grant Program.
So moved.
and seconded.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Would that also support a letter of support from the,
And we'll direct him to write a letter of support, which I think he was gonna do anyway.
Yeah. But might as well be
So that
directed.
makes it official.
so perhaps we could talk about one other thing? So we could talk about the CIP. And that's another one of those things, when we look at how everything fits together, the CIP does support your residential building limitation. And, you know, I know you're the your budget constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get started on it. We'll do it under our dues and we'll work through the process. Because it's one of those things that I think we would both like to get started on.
Board members are quite concerned about it.
So, you know, it doesn't, basically, it's, if you would want it to move forward, it's a, you know, seeking those CIP projects from the department heads. Have a lot of that already in community facilities, so we've, you know, got that structure. But it's building that spreadsheet that you've done in the past. We can come and have a staff person do office hours and come in and not ask department heads to fill forms out. Let's fill it out now. We'll do it right on the computer. Slot them out in over 6 years. Estimate the tax impact on those. But I think that's one of those things that it supports, if you've got that residential building permit limitation in place, you gotta have that CIP in place.
Right. The CIP should follow plan tomorrow, right? Now that we've,
It didn't have to, but it should.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
and
Seems to make sense that it
it's
would.
something that, you know, once you get the first one in, you lop off a year, you add the year, in theory, it's easy.
yeah,
You know, there's an estimation of the tax valuation over the years, that, so you estimate the tax impact. And if everything's loaded up in year 3, there's a conversation about moving things out to year 4 or 5. So,
Another thing is you have been working with the administration on road stuff, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you've got a bunch
So
of that
we-
stuff already in your
road service
spreadsheet.
management system.
Right, we had a program that was a road maintenance software program.
I remember,
And
yeah.
it died. Yeah, we had a fatal error in the computer program.
Oh,
And it was
Fatal error.
not supported by UNHT2 anymore. So we ended up getting a new, worked with Central New Hampshire to plan, and they did a review of all the roads.
Yeah.
And so they've been working with John and myself on that. So
And CIPs are best when you include that road improvement program. And I, myself, for department heads, is that use that information when you're talking about budgets, you're making your presentations. There it is, laid out.
Well, like anything, especially as we're, dealing with the tax issue now, we want to know, and the town wants to know ahead of time, as much as we can, what the impact is going to be.
Well,
And you know how to think about it or plan for it, so.
Basically, the role of the CIP, and it's better when it's done earlier in the year, because you want to pass it off to the budget committee or the select board, or both, to use it or not.
Yeah.
But it's information. So it doesn't have to be a crazy process, but it's that information that you're laying it out.
Yeah.
So we would get started on it, do it under your dues, and hopefully get it out of the way.
Which means that there's no additional cost to the town.
Correct.
Thank you.
Makes sense to me.
How much do you overlap with any conversations that zoning might be having about any of this?
I don't think there's a role for zoning in that, just typically.
Right.
It's when the CIP was just, when you at town meetings said you want to do a CIP, probably 25 years ago, you either said it was the planning board or CIP committee. I believe you said it was the planning board.
the planning board.
Yeah.
So, that's the planning board's role to say, okay, let's create a committee or we do it ourselves.
Yep.
But the ordinances from zoning is a tool that you have to make your plan work, correct?
Yeah, this
Or am I
is more of a kind of budgeting, dipping your toes into that budget side without, it's in an advisory way. But, you know, it's actually, it's the very first planning project I ever worked on, my first planning job. There's, you know, it's just classic American governance to actually walk through this process and provide that information to the budget committee.
But there is zoning ordinance information that is applicable, such as we have a building permit cap. So that will tell us the maximum amount of residential increase we can have per year, which helps you find the parameters in which you're working in terms of increased services.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Graham,
for sneaking us in.
yeah,
Thanks a lot.
It was my fault, I realized that, excuse me, I forgot to put you on.
All
There
good.
was a discussion, I apologize.
No one to blame.
This,
No,
no.
no
reason.
And the timing worked out perfect.
It did, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Good night, Greg.
Good night.
All right, why don't we go back to old business, Shaker Village taxes?
Yes, so in your, we had emailed you out, information from the assessor when they sent out the tax bill. Shaker Village sent out, then there was a response from Shaker Village. We forwarded all that information off to town council. They sent their responses, and after that, the assessor reviewed all the information and came up with their comments. So that was emailed to you. It's this form right here.
Yep.
We have a meeting with Shaker Village at the next meeting.
Now,
October
is they're
7th.
gonna change because I see a different name as chair of the board of trustees.
Oh,
I noticed that, it's not,
Mr.
it's not Mr.
Katz.
Katz.
oh, okay.
This is signed by a Jean M. Nye, who says Chair, Board of Trustees.
Is he chair board of,
What is
I
that?
assume that's a female, J-E-A-N.
What is that piece of paper?
I noticed that too, but I didn't know if maybe it's a different, is he board of directors versus
That's
board of trustees?
April of 2024. So I don't know, maybe,
I'm not sure.
yeah, me neither.
All right, good.
I haven't.
I thought I was just
I
hallucinating.
Yeah, I guess I had a conversation on the phone with Mr. Katz 3 weeks ago.
So maybe he's new since April of 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is true.
Okay.
I think that's
He's
true.
up there somewhere, because I saw it today when I was reading over
You saw him?
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably the case, and he's that new.
So I put this on the agenda tonight so you guys could discuss it.
Yeah.
And kind of come up with a game plan of what you think you should do as far as the taxes when you're discussing with Mr. Katz. I'd hate to have you go into that meeting without some sort of direction as a board that you're gonna take with them.
Yeah.
So if you want, I'll start, and number one on this list is the current use properties up there.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parcels that are listed. And at the end, I'll just go through the assessor's suggestions. And the suggestions from there are they should complete a new current use application and tax the open land under current use. As far as, the town council feels that they would not be exempt, so they feel it would be, if you chose to tax it, that you could, but it would be under the current use plan. The next 3 parcels, one is the barn, one is the north shop, one is the garden shop. And after all the information's been filed through, the assessor suggests that Shaker Village would be required to list each of the buildings' primary use and extension and duration on the A9 form, which is the form that gets filled out every April for a tax exempt organization. We have been receiving an A9, but it hasn't been detailed to these individual buildings where they were taxed on this past year.
Yeah.
Andy's apartment, this is number 15, and again, same thing as the last one. Have them fill it out on as the A9. The Creamery building. The first floor of the Creamery building is not presently owned by anyone that has a separate business. It's used and occupied for the purpose which they establish. So unless they have some kind of change of use, then that one would be eligible for being on the tax rolls. And again, this could be, maybe Mr. Katz has some kind of discussion on the future of that property, what they're trying to do with it.
The Creamery is the building that's on the Shaker property with the rest of the buildings, not the newer cafe building
Correct.
across the street.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I
Yep.
knew that was the right building. So it is a historic building, but it's not being used.
Right. It's not occupied and used in a way that supports an exemption.
Right.
And that's a opinion of town council.
Yeah.
Right.
And Ken, if we could just go back to the building 15, Andy's apartment.
Yep.
My understanding is from reading this, that the apartment is being rented to someone who is farming the property
Yes,
as a business.
they're not an employee of the village. They're, I guess you'd call it a subcontractor.
Yep.
They're currently one of the vendors at the farmer's market, Turning Mill Farms. That's
Okay,
Andy Messenger.
understood, okay, yep.
So in the explanation from Shaker Village, they offer the apartment at well below market rent. The person, Andy, prefers to be an independent contractor and maintain the garden in exchange for reduced rent and proceeds from the sale of garden yield. Town council's opinion is the court would recognize the apartment for the garden fulfills the exempt purpose of the organization.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yep.
Okay.
and then the last one is the East House, which is used.
Oh, can we back up one half a second?
Sure.
So with Andy's apartment, I was curious who was saying that Shaker Village is requires to have a garden.
I don't know.
Well, the only question I would have is, does it matter what kind of garden? I mean, he's growing all organic to sell at a farmer's market. Does it have to be a historic Shaker? Like for a while, Ruth Smith used to grow flax up there and process it because that was something the Shakers grew. Does that have any? Would that have any
That would-
influence?
No.
It just says a garden. Okay.
As long as it's supporting Shaker Village in a way that they want it to be supported, then I think that meets the
Okay.
requirement.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the East House,
Or Creamery? Did we do Creamery already?
we did.
Okay. It's East House.
And then the East House, again, fill out the A9 and primary use and extended duration of the use would be the suggestion from the assessor. So, I, just as I guess, as a general overall discussion on this, the Board of Selectmen have the ability to abate any taxes, interest, and penalties. They have a tax bill that they have paid partial. So they're accruing taxes or they're accruing penalties and interest on that tax bill. They will be mailed another tax bill depending in November, depending on the outcome of your meeting with Mr. Katz in October.
Yeah. Does the select board have the authority to waive interest and penalties?
Correct.
Okay.
As well as taxes.
As well as taxes. Okay. So you can go to any interest and penalties and past taxes due from this tax bill they received in June, you have the ability to waive those or to abate those is the term.
Okay.
If indeed we decide, say like on the second grouping here of the barn, the North Shop and the Garden Barn, let's say we decide we're interested in perhaps abating those taxes, would we have to can we require that they fill out the A9 in detail before we decide to abate the taxes?
No, the A9 is filled out in April.
Always.
So you only have the authority, well, they have to fill it out in April. They can notify the town that they're filling it out and ask for an extension on it.
Gotcha.
They can meet with the assessor to go over the A9 to make sure they're doing it correctly. There's all sorts of avenues for them to take instead of just not filing an A9 or not filing a complete A9.
Got it. So if we decided to, that we're interested in having them fill out this A9 and everything, and then we get all the information and it's complete and detailed, but the tax bills have still gone out, and until April, they're still accruing interest and penalties and all that.
So April of 2000 or, yeah.
So nothing do they just not pay? Could the scenario work that they would just not pay anything until April and then submit the complete and detailed A9s, and at that time we would say, okay, fine, and then just wipe the state? I mean, it could work that way?
It could.
Okay. Well, could be another scenario. The other scenario would be we say, no, we're not interested, and
Correct.
we just want all the taxes regardless of whether you.
Plus penalties.
Okay.
You know, that's, I expect a negotiation.
I would think that that's
Yeah.
what the meeting on the 7th would be,
Okay.
some kind of negotiation.
Got it. Do we need to have further discussion on this now, or?
No, unless
wait
you guys
until
want to
after
talk
we-
about, unless you feel differently on a course of action from what the assessor advises, based on all the information from her assessment, the village's response, and council's response, unless you feel that you want to deviate from that, and why, then that might be discussion for tonight, but you could wait until the 7th too.
No, everything seems really clear. It seems like everybody's done their homework. The only one would be the only one I would have a question about would be the first one. Or they may question, is, taxing that open land with under current use. That to me seems, I'd like to look at that one more closely. The other ones seem like they could be pretty clear.
And I guess I would suggest that maybe a meeting with our assessor would help you guys. An individual meeting up at the office with the assessor.
That would be really helpful.
Might be helpful for everybody.
I think, yeah, and certainly, for me, I think Mandy has made very thoughtful and well-reasoned arguments for her position. I intend to support that.
Yep. And when could what's the best way to go about setting up that meeting?
Contact her and see when she's available.
Okay. Okay. Let the emails begin.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on that from any members of the board?
No, thank you.
All right, moving on, Penacook Rescue Squad update.
Yes, so I sent out an email with some numbers. There is a meeting October 28th at 10 a.m. in Concord with the county commissioners. I know, Scott, you can't make it. Beth, you said you could.
28th, correct? Yeah.
And Kent, I haven't heard from you on that one.
I am checking on that.
I'm gonna have to check on my calendar.
I've sent you a few emails.
10 a.m.
You send that out as an email?
I've sent 3 or 4 emails on this, and I haven't heard back from you on it, so I just was wondering.
I'll look again.
Okay, all right, okay.
Ken, you said that it's at it's 10 a.m. on the 28th,
On
correct?
the 28th, and it's in Concord.
I'm there.
Okay.
So the only suggestion, so I've been at every meeting that we've held, I think going into this, what I've seen so far is the meetings have drifted because there is no plan or agenda. So I would suggest those that can attend do, first of all. But second of all, we should have a position, a plan going in as to what we want to accomplish. In looking through the documents, I think that the concerns brought up by the Salisbury Selectmen are well reasoned. And in my opinion, Canterbury is paying too much for what we're using of the service. I would be in favor of seeing us go to a call-based billing system. In other words, we do a certain percentage of calls and we pay based on that. Boscawen is getting, and depending on what Salisbury does, I guess is going to be the next part of the discussion. But I would look at, Ken made out a great spreadsheet that gave us some really good comparisons of both systems, population-based bills and call-based bills. And we will be saving Canterbury money by going to a call-based system. However, Salisbury is nobody knows what their intent is. They've withdrawn from the talks between the towns and Penacook Rescue. So I don't know what their intent is. I guess that will become clear in time. If they withdraw, that means that the two towns will share the burden for Penacook Rescue. And obviously, no matter what formula we choose, that'll significantly raise our cost. So, and once again, Ken has been good enough to provide those figures to us in that spreadsheet, so.
Does it significantly raise our cost more than the savings we realize by going to call-based versus population-based?
No, we'll still pay more.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, yes, we'll pay more, but, okay.
We'll still save money going to a
Call-based versus what we would. So if you take Salisbury out of the equation and you get call-based versus, they're both gonna go up, but call-based will still be less than population-based. Okay, that's what I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on these numbers, Salisbury's, if you did just a call-based system, Salisbury would only, their total operating costs are $540,000, and Salisbury would only be paying $43,000 of that. So that still leaves $500,000 of that operating expense that needs to be expended by or brought by Canterbury and Boscawen. And based on our last year's call volume, we would pay probably a little less than $100,000. What it would do is boost Boscawen's to $400,000 instead of $275,000. So.
And they're hoping to get some of that back from the.
And I don't know, my guess is that by providing some of these numbers, the county commissioners, particularly the call volume to the county facilities, that we can, there's some leverage there hopefully to get the county to come up, to join in with some of the costs of the service. I think.
Why has call-based versus population-based come up before?
Not really. I think it might have in the past, but not I guess to the extent that it is now. It's always been based on population, or it has been for the last probably 6 or 7 years.
And there was a significant increase in the price.
Correct.
How many years ago now?
5 years.
Yeah. So before, we weren't
Well,
talking.
Penacook Rescue was at one time a strictly volunteer organization. And they only asked for a subsidy from the towns to provide operating expenses for the capital outlay. Since then, the volunteers, as in any municipality, have more or less gone away.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any left.
So they had to hire people to work. And so that we're paying the salaries of the EMS personnel for that service.
Right.
The capital expenses come from insurance reimbursements they get from the patients.
Yeah.
So that's all their capital funding. But we're paying the operating costs, really the salaries and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Is it 100% certain Salisbury's out?
Nothing.
No,
They're thinking about
they
being out?
have withdrawn from negotiations with the three towns.
Okay.
They are going to negotiate with the directors of Penacook Rescue, the board of directors of Penacook Rescue by themselves.
Oh. Yes, I forgot that piece. But, okay.
Penacook Rescue is a private organization, and it's just like, I guess, like heating oil.
Yeah,
We
I'm just
deal
wondering.
with a company that provides us heating oil at a specific price, and we contact them independently when we buy propane for our buildings.
Yeah.
We are fortunate enough to be folded in with the school district, so we get a really good price. Typically, there's more strength in numbers. Salisbury has decided that they're going to negotiate on their own.
I'm wondering what we'll find out what they negotiate, if they do call-based too, or.
Well, so my opinion is the bottom line for Penacook Rescue is the bottom line.
Yeah.
They're not a profit-making service, they're a not-for-profit.
Right.
So their expenses are whatever that.
$540,000 this year for operating expenses.
Yeah. So.
But what we discussed a little bit, or in conversation somewhere, if Salisbury pulls out, if
That's a
Salisbury,
different story.
if they aren't involved in with Penacook Rescue, that makes their, they would need a second ambulance, their expenses wouldn't go up as much as
Correct.
they had thought. However, if Salisbury's still negotiating with them.
Part of this whole overall discussion has been the potential need for a second ambulance.
Right.
And those options were listed. Penacook Rescue handed those options out.
Right.
I got some research from the Capital Area Mutual Aid Compact on, I hate to say missed calls, but calls that Penacook
You
Rescue.
just sent that out today?
I did. I sent it out, I think Thursday. I think it was on Thursday. And I asked the Mutual Aid Compact for numbers from other municipalities that provide EMS. And these are strictly EMS calls. These aren't fire calls, these are EMS calls. Webster Rescue, they had 9% of their calls had to be handled by some other organization. Bow Ambulance was 4%. Penacook Rescue in 2023 was 8.7%. So I think, I only got Webster and Bow and one's 9 and one's 4. Bow Ambulance they're a full-time fire-based EMS system. They have more people on duty, so I think, and they actually have a second ambulance that's a spare that can be utilized if their first ambulance is tied up. So they may have the ability to handle a second call a little bit better than Penacook Rescue.
Okay.
So I think that's probably why their numbers are a little less. Webster, they have one EMS vehicle, and that's what they use. So.
Okay.
So I don't think that, based on these numbers, it doesn't look to me that a second ambulance is needed unless the call volume for Penacook Rescue increases dramatically.
Right.
Well, we'd be more sure of that if we knew that they weren't contracted with Salisbury.
And if Salisbury was not in the equation, then I think that would take that need for a second ambulance off the table.
Yeah.
It's always gonna do something though. Do you do you think we need to go into that meeting with a decision, or just go, is
Well,
that meeting just to go?
I think, as Scott has mentioned, we should go in there with
A position.
some kind
Yeah.
of position on what we'd like to see from the county.
Yeah.
I think with these numbers, it certainly shows that the county is getting a lot of calls. I think it was, what I have. At the last meeting that we had with Penacook Rescue in August, year to date, Bosquen there was 557 EMS calls in the town of Bosquen. Of that, 217 were to the county facility. So that's 38%. And they're not paying any subsidy. So if you're getting 38% of the service, I think that's a pretty strong number where you can go to the county and say, look, you're getting 38% of the call volume in one town, and you're not providing any kind of subsidy for the service. So I think that's kind of a strong position to come back with.
Yeah.
It's, if you take the call volume of the three towns together, it's still 28%.
Okay.
So 28%, more than a quarter of the calls are going to this facility that is not coming up with any kind of subsidy for the town. Now, I know that Sean, the director at Penacook Rescue, said that they get 97 or 98% payback on all of their calls there, as far as the insurance money.
Right.
But that doesn't go towards the operating costs, that goes to capital costs.
Do we have a sense of what kind of money the county actually has if they wanted to actually agree to?
They have a budget,
Yeah. Well, my understanding is up until some point in the fairly recent past, the county contracted with an ambulance service.
They did for their non-emergency transports.
Which are jail, nursing home, anything like you said, of a non-emergent nature, went to a commercial ambulance service. And that was a contract that the county covered. And at some point during COVID, I believe, that ended.
Yes. The Penacook Rescue is an emergency service. They're not a transport service, they're an emergency service. So once that contract with the non-emergent call service went away, then Penacook Rescue, the county ended up calling Penacook Rescue for what would be considered a non-emergency call, transport to the hospital. The nursing home has staff, trained medical staff, and the county jail has trained medical staff.
And they still call.
So they can stabilize a patient with a non-emergent issue to the point where they don't have to have, it's not an emergency to transport to the hospital. They still may be transported, but where the county doesn't have a contract with a private contractor now, then they call Penacook Rescue.
So that may be the other thing to discuss with the county commissioners.
Could be is they have
return to a contract.
Return to a contract.
So do we want to draft our position before we go into this meeting, and if yes, when?
Definitely. I would say,
I can come up with a few talking points and send them out to you guys as some bullet points.
Yeah.
I would say one is that this is the amount of money that is this is the amount of call volume that the county is receiving. This is what the subsidy the other two towns are paying. This is what the operating costs are. And we feel that the county steps up and helps out with the operating costs, or that the county seeks some kind of contract with a private service to take care of the non-emergent calls. I think those are really the two options you give the county.
Yep. And that's Canterbury's position. What do you think Bosquen will say?
I don't know. I can talk to them and ask them what their thoughts are.
It'd be interesting to know before you walk into a meeting.
Yeah, and again, it's not till the end of October, so I think we have some time to get a feel for what Bosquen wants to do. I think they're probably in the same field as we are. Is
Yeah.
They're looking for some money.
As they should.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty, thank you. If you would draft something, that would be helpful.
All right. Anything further on that from anybody? All right, let's move on then to the Comcast franchise agreement.
Yep, so I sent the franchise agreement and some questions back to Comcast. I heard from Brian Christensen about it. He was going to wordsmith the franchise agreement to about the density requirement.
Yeah.
He had a few concerns about what we said was we asked for 100% coverage by a certain date. He had some concerns about that because there are some properties that, he said, if we miss one or two, he said, I don't wanna, one of their people went to a property on a dirt road that had no trespassing, attack dogs, things like that. And he said they chose not to enter the property.
I get it.
And so he said, I have a real concern about saying 100%.
Yeah.
So he was gonna try and come up with something that
Right.
we could say that is agreeable to some kind of full coverage or accessibility to all of the residents that want accessibility or something like that. He was gonna come up with something and send it off to his attorneys to see if that was good.
Can you check with him? I had a call from a member of the Glines family. There apparently has been no fiber optic or cable run. My understanding is the high speed ends at the golf course, and then it comes down Carter Hill to west and then continues on.
So it doesn't go down West Road.
Correct.
Past the lights.
And they're looking for it at the farm, and I believe when the new house is done, they're looking to hook that up as well. So to me, it makes sense to just complete that loop and have it available.
Sure.
Did you get back to me about the green section on that map?
No, I forgot to ask him when I talked to him on the phone. I had sent him an email and I forgot to.
And I do remember a discussion from Brian on a certain number of properties, a dozen maybe, that were, they were waiting for, I think, disbursement of the grant funds.
BMGI money.
Right.
And I sent a note to Cindy Worthington, the executive council, because they're supposed to vote on that day after tomorrow, the 25th. So I sent a support letter to have the executive council approve those funds.
Very good. Could Brian provide us with those addresses?
Sure.
The only thing I'm thinking is if they start calling you, it would be nice to know which properties are going to identify.
Do know that Asby Road those houses on Asby Road are part of that. Because I can't remember the gentleman's name, that I think you know him, that was over on Asby Road.
John Schneider, maybe?
No. You say he works for the state?
Oh, yeah, it'll come to me.
Yeah. He's got a very long driveway, and I've been emailing him back and forth about the process, and he has been contacted.
Yeah.
And when I talked to Brian Christensen, he said that's one of the BMGI addresses.
Yeah.
So that's what my guess is that it's a couple more of those houses over on Asby Road.
Are there poles on Asby?
There are.
Okay.
It depends on where you go though.
That's what I'm
Because
thinking.
it stops and then it starts. It
Starts
skips an
up
area.
Yep, that's the area I'm thinking.
Same as what Intervale Road.
Yeah.
There were some utility poles, but then they stopped at a certain spot and then started again.
Yeah.
That's helpful. When, do we have an idea when we're going to get the franchise agreement back to?
I know, he, obviously is working with lots of other towns, so.
Yeah.
And you did talk to him, we talked about that at one point, they're not going to put in the agreement that it's going to
internet.
include
Correct.
broadband because
Correct.
they don't do
That
that.
is, right. He said
Which is quite a head shaker.
it's Currently, it's law and policy that they don't include internet in that because the franchise agreement says cable TV.
Yeah.
And I said, can you make it cable TV and internet?
Because they're selling it.
He said, I'd like to, but I can't.
Isn't that
So,
weird? That's what they're
I
selling.
said, well, do you have a separate franchise for internet? He said, no. So I don't know.
Very odd.
Yeah,
I know, it's a head shaker,
yeah.
but okay.
Yeah.
They're selling it and people are getting it, so
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
one of those things. All right.
All right, I think you've already touched on greater delivery
Yep.
update, so let's go right on to
Mowing.
town mowing.
Yep. We hired Roy Plisco. He's gonna be working part-time.
That's what, yeah.
Yes.
What John
Yep.
was talking about.
Yep.
Very good.
What are we doing, just the center or?
Center and cemeteries. Yep.
Yeah.
That can include cleanup and this fall?
So
or-
we're not sure. Sam is gonna solicit some landscape companies to see if they'd be interested in a one-time leaf pickup to help us out. So he was gonna try and work on that this week.
Did you pass along the contact information for KLM, the ones who do the school?
I have it. I will give it to Sam. Yeah.
I would. They do a beautiful job at the school.
He was
And they're
gonna
right
try.
there.
He was gonna try 2 local Canterbury companies first.
Okay.
So.
I would give them the name anyway, just in case. Only because they're here, they're right in town,
I
they do a
understand.
great job. But I know, he wants,
Try to support the local guy.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever warm body we can get.
I've got one, I guess, old business, because we've already met with the budget committee. Typically, they would come back in December.
Yes.
And I'm gonna suggest that we ask them to come back in November, so that we can kind of get a jump on things.
Great.
With this big increase coming, it just, to me, I think we should be more proactive this year.
Okay.
So, can we identify a date for them?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, so.
Can I add one thing to old business for 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
Kevin Bragg stopped me on the side of the road today. I wanted to know if we talked about the maple tree. He said he sent you a
I
bunch of
have it
information.
on my list
Okay.
here to tell you guys.
Oh, okay. Well then, whenever
Under
you see
action
fit.
item updates.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have prices for trees. Kevin stopped by with this
geez.
price list.
Oh, from Milliken's, right?
He's highlighted a few. He's highlighted these maples here. There's sugar maples, and then these are maples that are red maples that are a little less expensive. He feels they would be a good choice over there. Then he also listed these plane trees, PLANE, which is a different kind. And again, some prices. The ones he suggested, so 2 inches in diameter. Yep, there's the 2-inch trunk right there.
Thank you, Kevin.
I figured, well, I drew that on. I talked to Kevin, I'm like,
Thank you,
so 2
Ken.
inches? He goes, yeah. I said, well, let me get out my compass and draw a circle on here so everybody knows what 2 inches looks like.
Pretty small.
Yeah,
Excuse
but they're not the finger
Finger
saplings
trees, yeah.
that we've seen in the past in places. The red maples run anywhere from, they're 2 to 2.5 inch trees, and they're 395, 520. A 3 to 3.5 is 740. So you're looking anywhere from $400 to $700 there. And then these plane trees are about the same price, $425 to $500. So, and again, for a bigger tree, 3.5 to 4 inches is around $700.
Does the cost include planting, or do we?
No, that's the tree. We'd have to plant it
Okay.
and then water it.
Okay. Yeah.
So he orders these. He goes to wherever he gets these every couple of weeks. So he said, just let him know
Gotcha.
what we want and when
I
we
think
want
that's
it.
from, he said Milliken's, and he's going
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, what do you think about, I don't know what a plain.
Regular sugar maples, are a little more
I
expensive.
think maples.
They're from $600 to $800. Regular sugar maples.
We've been having good luck with the ones they planted up.
Sugars?
Yeah, well, I think it's sugar maple, yeah.
Well, I do too, I think that's.
Oh, plain,
So,
Yeah.
stick with what he planted in the town center?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
just make sure it's as salt resistant as we can get it.
I don't know if it's the
Yeah,
same as a
there's, I mean,
London tree.
here's the list he gave me, I'm like, that's a lot of choices.
Does it
Kevin.
say a London plane tree? Cause
Uh,
that looks like a sycamore almost, it's big and
No.
white. No,
I say
It
a
says-
sugar maple.
yeah, or red.
Yeah.
Can we go red and get a bigger tree?
yes, you can.
Start with a bigger, I vote bigger and,
So if you want to look
That's
at
it.
the,
Red on that, I think.
what's
Stay away from the red maples.
I know, but what?
They don't seem to last as long. They get heart rot and then they turn brown on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
But
well,
it's,
I think-
I mean, that's what these are all sugar maples.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking,
Yeah,
is they're all
and-
sugars.
Yeah, that'd be
I
nice.
guess these aren't, they're sugar maples, but they're not orange when they turn color, they turn red.
Okay.
So they're the green, they're not the red maples you see where the leaves are red all the time.
Yeah.
They turn red when they turn.
right,
So that's, he said that's the difference. They are sugar maples, but they're not the orange, yellow.
I gotcha.
When they turn.
oh, it's a sugar maple that turns red versus
Correct.
the classic sugar maple.
Correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're still the Acer saccharum family genus. So
So what can we afford, I guess, is the next question.
we have,
Oh,
and how many trees are we talking about, just one
Just-
to go?
yeah, right, the one, I think to replace the one that.
By the cemetery, right?
Yeah. Correct, right, yeah, we do.
center maintenance, we have $1,600 left in the budget for center maintenance.
Can I see the price list, please? Thank you.
Which I'll bring something else up that was in a little bit further in my action items, or it really should have been new business, but I wanted to bring it up at some point. The lighting of the Christmas tree out here, the recreation committee has said that they would do it. We are gonna have to buy all new lights for it this year.
For the big tree.
Looking at around $1,500 for expense.
Where would that come out of?
So that would be the center maintenance item typically.
Not recreation?
Pardon me?
Not recreation?
No, because they budgeted for soccer and basketball. They did not budget for the Christmas tree. They said that they would take on the project of arranging the lights set up and all that, but they don't have any money to buy lights.
Right.
Do we have another, so center maintenance only has what, 1,600 in it? And it's 1,500 for,
$1,600, well, I think Gordon said that the lights, we could expect to spend around $1,500 on good LED lights.
but the center maintenance budget has 1,600.
$1,645.
So we spend 1,500 on lights, that leaves us pumpkins for tree, really? Okay, I'll make sure I knew what the numbers. You don't wanna spend $2,420 on a nice 6-inch, 4-inch? Jeez. So we might be able to afford a $590 2.5 to 3-inch tree, if that's the case, sort of.
Can we do that?
Just for close.
Yeah, I think our
Actually.
budget is looking pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've saved some money because of in wage lines.
Yeah.
We haven't expended. We're 73% into the year, and I think we're at about 60%
Okay.
expended. There's gonna be some expenses coming, the paving and things like that,
Yeah.
but those are all budgeted for. Unless there's some something unforeseen, and I wish there was a piece of wood around here I could knock on.
Right
but,
behind you.
Yeah, I think, at least this year's budget looks like we're in pretty good shape.
All right, why don't we
So-
take these two things separately? The tree, let's deal with that first.
So if we get a 2.5 to 3 inch tree, it's $590. For an extra $200, we get a 3.5 inch tree. Does that matter as far as helping the tree survive if we plant it a little bigger?
I would say no. I don't think it's gonna matter.
I
Just keeping it wet. It's gonna
I've
matter.
heard two schools of thought on that. Is
Yeah,
the bigger the tree, the bigger the shock value when you transplant it,
yeah.
and you have to really be careful with it. So
We'd have to also dig a bigger hole,
bigger
right?
hole. Yeah.
Oh,
But
then,
also just thinking in deference to our budget,
yeah.
that we stay small.
Yeah, well, $590 is the,
What type of tree?
that is the sugar maple, dense upright pyramidal sugar maple improved native Z4. The basic Acer Saccharum Apollo, the Apollo.
All right.
I lost that.
And the next one is the commemoration rounded dark, how do you know the deep red orange fall? Well, if we want sugar maple, that's the one.
Okay.
$590
All right, why don't you make a hash mark on that one?
for a 2.5 to 3 inch tree.
Do we need a motion or anything? No. Okay.
That's the tree. Oh wait, why does he have these flash
Those
fires?
are the ones he
Oh, those are the red.
highlighted that he thought would be okay there. They're a little less expensive, and say they turn red in the fall instead of the orange.
Well, if we want sugar maple, that's the only one that really says sugar maple.
Okay.
And there it is.
There it is.
All right.
All right, so do you want to talk about Christmas lights at this point?
If you guys, sure.
It being almost October.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of the lights, personally. I have taken them up and put them down twice.
So actually, you're hitting on my concern. So my understanding is the old lights were damaged because they didn't get taken down. What's our plan, if there is one, for, it sounds like there's a plan to put them on.
I think the last, well, it was a volunteer type.
Right, I know the Boom Tree and
Yep.
my understanding is Eversource sort of.
No, it was.
Unitil, I apologize.
But it doesn't matter, they didn't show up,
Right.
right?
And
So we
that's-
got Brian there, that's the other part of this equation. Brian took them down by himself.
Right.
They're up and down, it was a mess.
He was not happy, right?
He was not happy at all.
No, and I don't blame
So
him.
that was the issue. So, I don't know if we can get some kind of commitment from Unitil. I don't know. For several years, they came out gratis and helped us out. And I don't know if we were on our luck.
Well, what also happened last year is, so we had them on the big tree, then we did the whole gazebo, and then I guess the recreation committee came out and did all those other smaller trees around the center.
Right,
Do we need the big tree? It's tradition,
Again,
but
this is up to.
I'm gonna keep doing the gazebo as I have been doing for however many years.
I was asked about it by a resident, so I contacted the Recreation Committee, and I had talked to them last year, and they said that they would be willing, and I just wanted to reaffirm, yes, they would. But I knew they needed new lights, and we didn't budget for it, so.
So their offer is to do what though?
Is to organize and set up, putting them up and taking them down.
So the other suggestion I was thinking about last year is we get a star at the top of the tree. Let's put the star up. It's easy. We just run a line down and plug it in, and we've decorated the tree in the sense that we've got all these other things that are showing light. Let's just show the star on top of it. But
I mean,
Or just move the star on top of the gazebo, because that's even closer.
Not
Just focus everything on the gazebo and a Christmas tree inside.
my concern, and I'm sure you both share this, is that we spend $1,600 only to ruin $1,600 worth of lights because there is, no concrete person or persons to take them down. Because obviously, as we all know, we need aerial
Yeah.
pieces to do that, so.
You need tool.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's the problem. I mean, Brian has been very,
He has,
very helpful,
absolutely,
but he only has one bucket truck.
right. So,
I'd say concentrate on the gazebo, if we can, if we have a center thing to buy a nice, everybody had a fit about having a, no, there were concerns expressed, let's put it that way, about having a fake tree in the gazebo. We can buy a nice tree, a stand, if we can, whatever it takes to get it so it doesn't blow over every 15 minutes. And decorate, you know. I might need 2 more sets of lights for the gazebo, but that's like $50.
Okay.
And I'm
So
willing
what
to
do you-
buy that.
you're suggesting though an artificial tree?
A real tree and in the gazebo, if we had a
I'm
star,
not sure we can do that.
no?
I'm sure fire regulations will allow us to put
A real tree?
inside of it. I think the gazebo probably qualifies as a structure.
Really?
Yeah.
Why have we been putting a real tree in there?
Don't tell me that.
I didn't tell you that. I still have a fake tree in my, a very nice artificial tree in my garage, which I will happily.
I would say that's probably
Okay,
a good
that's fine.
question for code.
And we own it.
Yeah, and I guess I would side with a non-real tree, only because the wind blows sometimes really hard. And if no one's around and the tree tips over, I'd hate to see.
What we ended up doing last year is I went and I lashed it to one of the uprights because that was the only way to keep it from blowing over.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if we just put, if the recreation committee wanted to put lights on the bushes around the gazebo
Okay.
and forget the tree in the gazebo, that makes life a lot easier all the way around.
I think that's a better.
And just let the gazebo, and if somebody can figure out a way to get the star on the gazebo, I think that'd be kind of pretty. Or on the tree, wherever. So, yeah,
All right.
All right.
and that leaves more in the maintenance budget in case we have to do something else with a tree.
Yep. All right.
Oh, then while we're talking about trees, if indeed we don't buy Christmas lights, there's still a hole for another tree by the house, yeah? Or wasn't there a plan to put another tree over there?
We got 2 trees donated, that's what we got.
Right, I know, but
We didn't have any further plans than that I know of.
I thought they wanted one more, but
Well,
I'll ask.
We wanted the whole road down there, but that's,
Well, we might have, I was just going to say if we had room for another, but we don't have to worry about that now.
All right.
Okay,
I have one more
Okay.
action item update. The certificate of appreciation for Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
I sent a copy out to you guys. Beth had some suggestions on,
just making the type a little nicer and you've got good paper and.
Yep.
And a frame,
it's a Word document. Would you be able to? Okay.
totally. Send it over. Do we have frames or do I need to purchase a frame?
Pardon me?
Do we have frames somewhere?
We'd have to buy a frame.
I'll just buy a frame and
Sure.
give you a receipt? Okay.
Yeah, and I thought that they looked good to me, so. Yeah. All right. So we're back up to the, please sign then?
Yes.
All right, so I have the accounts payable manifest in the amount of $116,476.22.
so moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Payable, correct.
Does that include the window dressers? I didn't look at it this afternoon.
Yes.
With window 13.
Yeah.
Is it, can I just interrupt for half a second to say, is it complicated or awkward to go to executive session if we need John here, so John doesn't have to sit through all this?
No, I'm enjoying this.
Oh, all right, fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
'cause
then.
I want, honestly, Edgar to have the opportunity to
Okay.
not have to stand in the cold waiting for us.
Okay.
I know, you look a little lightly dressed for what it might be outside now.
Good weather for me.
Yeah.
Well, this
All
was
right.
just signing, that was all.
Right,
Okay.
next is the payroll manifest in the amount of $52,081.77.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Is, our new police officer already on that payroll manifest? He started, right?
He has started, yes.
No, that's from,
Probably from previous.
From previous,
yeah,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
yeah,
so he would not be on that.
I was doing that payroll on his first day.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Want that? Yep. All right, welfare manifest, check in the amount of $1,549.25. Do you want me to read who it's to? Okay.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, a second welfare manifest in the amount of $830.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Change.
Yep.
I'll put that in there, Ken. That's okay.
Excuse me.
All right, this is an interfund transfer from the capital reserve account into the TD Bank operating account, in the amount of $3,940. It's the final payment for the town hall bathrooms flooring.
All
Do we
right.
need a motion or we just sign it?
Yes.
That seems a long time since they completed that.
Yeah, we paid the company, but we just did an interfund transfer from the capital reserve account
Oh, okay.
to the operating account.
Got it.
to offset the expenditure.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, next, Ken, what do I need to read on this? It's an MS 535 form.
Yep.
Financial report of the budget.
Yep.
What else do we need
You
to,
can just,
If you want an explanation, I've got a packet. Beth came and looked through it earlier.
Okay.
But if you guys want.
Beautifully color coded and
I'll bet it is.
very, very cross-checked.
It's basically the auditors did the audit for 2023 and put it all into a DRA form.
Okay, and this is their, right, their
And
report
this
to.
is, yeah, this is, us endorsing what they said and so,
I understand.
And that's Cal checking their endorsement of what they said.
yes.
Understood.
In 5 hours.
All right, do we need a motion or just, so are we signing here?
We're supposed to write, here, let me, sorry, I should have done this part ahead of time.
Actually, while Cal's doing that, we've got an appointment slip for Sam Paps to the Tricentennial Committee.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes for me as well.
And
What's today, the 23rd?
Alright, so then you can sign that next to the name.
There's Sam's appointment slip. Thank you, sir.
so sign next to your name and the fire rate column.
Looks right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Scott, can I have the HealthTrust?
Of course.
So where is so this is, the second
That's the
retiree package
report, so we just
that
need
they
to
want to
sign.
start offering.
Right.
The
Or
third
the
one
right
that has
the
is
underlying.
grandfathered in, so we're going to change to our current retirees.
we need to put who we are.
Have sent
I don't
information.
think so. I think
Of
she's.
our current retirees, in case they would like to switch the list.
All right. And we've already taken care of Sam's
No, it's not.
appointment.
Yes, but I have a note on that. Hold on.
Yeah, and
Sam's
that's due
No, on your appointment.
at the end of this week.
I have to find, because Cal looked up that you are indeed the select board representative to the Tricentennial Committee as
I was afraid that was gonna be the case.
as was in the minutes of, I wrote it down and I can't find them.
July 15th,
July
Okay.
15th.
section,
Yeah. It's on there. I wrote it down on the bottom of my agenda,
I
but I
still
can't
feel
find
like
it.
I'm being railroaded.
However,
I thought I heard you say yes.
yes, you totally said it.
I just have no memory
You
of
totally
that.
said, but here's my question, because I would still like to be on that
Oh,
committee. Do I need to be
please.
appointed? Do I need an appointment
I don't
slip
think
as a town member?
It depends on if you're going as a town member or if you're going as a select board rep.
Well, if you're the select board rep and I just wanna show up because I'm nosy and I wanna be part of the committee,
Then you should have your own.
then I should have an appointment slip?
So I'll make one for you next time.
Okay, thank you.
And we're still,
Or you could tell Scott you're gonna stand in for him that night.
I have a feeling somebody's gonna not show up.
so that is not the case. Truth be told.
There's already a subcommittee, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, is there? Okay.
There is.
I haven't even had the
Okay.
first meeting yet.
Right, and there's subcommittees already. All right, that brings us to the Health Trust Plan Agreement.
So that is just, they wanna offer a new plan for retirees.
Okay.
And we only have one or two, depending on how you count. It doesn't cost the town anything, this is just offering them another
An option.
And the old plan is grandfathered in, so nobody has to change.
Understood, okay.
And it needs Scott to sign it.
Okay.
I understand how to come in here with all my papers neatly organized and I can't find a thing.
And it looks like 2 spots, Carol.
Yes. You have to make another Scott sign, please sign here. label. That one looks nicer though, so I think I might,
It is pretty spiffy.
yeah, I might switch to that one.
All right, anybody wanna look at this before I hand it back? All right, and that
No, this
brings
is
us-
just another
Yeah.
plan. Any
Somewhere
interest
in
in
here, I know I have
perusing?
notes. There we go.
Cal, you want this one back?
I want them all back eventually.
Okay.
And I'll leave it here with the other ones. All right, so that brings us to previous minutes approval from the public meeting of September the 9th, 2024. I understand you had a correction, right?
Yes, so Howard Moffett asked last week that line 213 be amended to reflect the select board voted to appoint Tom Franco as Canterbury's primary representative to the CPC-NH board, not just as the chair for CCPC. This is, you did vote in spirit for that, but for the technical wording, they needed it to be spelled out exactly in the minutes.
And what's the addition,
Canterbury's primary representative to the CPC-NH board.
CPC.
So that's it. That's
Okay.
the only note I think I have about.
I didn't see anything else.
Good, yeah, I didn't see anything else either, so, look for a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Excuse me, and seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
As
that takes
amended.
care of-
Oh, wait, we need to say approved as amended, correct?
He said it.
Yeah. Once in a while,
I just didn't hear.
Cal, I'll get that over to you now so you can look it over and make sure we don't owe you anything. All right, so that does bring us to, does anybody have anything else for the public portion?
Nope.
Beth?
No, other than, are we doing action items, anything here, except we're just waiting to hear from Mike Risloff, October 1st, he was supposed to call back, right? So, I've got on my phone at end of day to find out if he calls.
My calendar and.
That's the only thing I'm really curious about.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion then at this point that we adjourn to executive session.
And could you make the motion for both RSA for number A and number C. 'Cause
Okay.
there's two items on the agenda.
Correct.
One
Yep.
is the highway hiring stuff, so that's a personnel thing. And one of them is a adversely affect reputation of somebody.
Okay.
So
So I'll make a motion, we go into executive session for items A and C.